Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another show, transfer news show, talk show, manager news, manager discussions, panel to join us as well. Lots to get into, lots to discuss today, guys. I hope you guys are having a pleasant Thursday as always as well. Do me a favor, guys. Make sure you're smashing the like, subscribe if you're new to both Chelsea Fan TV and GNA TV. Maresca still hasn't been fully announced yet. We got the here we go, but it hasn't been fully announced just as of yet. We got lots to get into, lots to discuss in regards to these players, transfer news as well. We got some articles to go through, and we've also got the panel joining as well. Over 150 people here already. Smash the likes, and let's cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another news show for you guys. Welcome all in, 115 people here already. Smash the likes, guys. Let's get these likes up on YouTube if we can, both sides. The target for you guys right now is from now till 1:45 to hit 100 likes, guys. I will be checking it at 1:45 to see if we've got 100 likes. If we can do that, that would be amazing. Let's say hello to some people in the chat. Skills is in here. Unfortunately, with another trophy, as he's an Arsenal fan, sitting in a Chelsea channel talking about banter when he hasn't won a major trophy for nearly 20 plus years. Sad life, man. Sad life. What are the chances of us winning the Premier League title in the coming season under our managerial workforces of Enzo Maresca? I mean, it's a very good question. Not yet to know. I think what we need to do is see this summer window play out first. This summer window is going to be very important, and it's from what we've been told by Fabrizio Romano, we are going to be very busy in this transfer market window as well. Strikers, 2 centre-backs, a potential left-back, a potential winger, goalkeeper. The talks of the goalkeeper coming in because of Maresca's type and style of play. He wants maybe a goalkeeper that is more comfortable with the ball at his feet as well. So there's a lot going on. Leo, welcome. How are you? Good to see you. Sean, Maresca might be baby Pep. Who knows? Who knows what Maresca is going to be? Why haven't they announced it yet? Well, because he's in Marbella and there's still signatures that need to be made to the contract along with his staff. We've been told that this week it will be done. It could be in any time in the next couple of days, guys. Surely, surely and truly. We've not heard anything else other than that it's going to be Maresca. Championship manager. He is Michael. He has come in as a championship manager who's also won the Premier League 2 with the Man City team and was a part of the side of Man City's treble winning team as well. Jose, how are you, bro? Good to see you. Big up, my boy. Good to see you. Keep up the good work, bro. Hey, big up, Lucy. Good to see you. I like your positive vibes. Big up to you, man. Thank you for being here. Bad Mark says, afternoon, bro. Hope you're well. Yeah, all good, Mark. Good to see you, my G. Good to see you. Hope you're well. I'm actually happy that Enzo is here because I like his philosophy. And this is the thing, right? A lot of us were jumping at the fact that he's a championship manager. He's a championship manager. Yes, he is a championship manager. That for sure. I get that. But we don't really understand how well his system, his philosophy, his style and ideas are going to work with what we have. And when you look at the execution of his systems, the variations in the midfield, the way that the centre-backs switch around, and it's very rigorous and they understand their roles, And do we have the players to accommodate Enzo Maresca's systems 100%? If anything, if anything, the systems that he's bringing across should be a plus and a bonus for these players, in my opinion. Now they've just got to be well drilled in variations, in movement, because he's very tactically demanding in how he wants it played to make the players' jobs and lives easier in his own tactics and how he likes to play things. There's a lot for us to learn. Okay, Skills, whatever you say, bro. This guy must have won some trophies, huh? Because we're Chelsea and we need someone who knows how to win things. Well, he won the championship. Does that count? Because people say talking about trophies, he won the championship, he's won the PL2, and he was a part of the Man City team. That's all I can say for now. I'm not sure the progress we deserve is with Enzo. Again, it's all about being open-minded here, guys. I'm not saying that we should be fully like, oh my God, we've got Enzo Maresca, the new, I was about to say something, but I couldn't say it. The new Pep, the new Pep in town is going to be dominating for the next 5 years. He's going to bring Chelsea back to the promised land. We don't know. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, negative. No, because I don't really have an overall populated opinion. When it came to Pochettino, I could do that because I'd seen his experience. I had seen the clubs he'd been. I'd seen how he was with them clubs. And I watched him go from Southampton to Tottenham, where I thought he'd done very well. And then from Tottenham to PSG, where I thought he didn't do very well. And with the players they had at the time, with Messi and Mbappe and all that, it was easier to watch Champions League, French League, and make this image of what you think and why you think it wouldn't work. And one of the big things for me was I just felt he was very outdated in what he was trying to do and very naive in his own systems. And we saw a lot of it. I don't think we can build that opinion of Maresca too much yet, other than from what Leicester fans say and what the Leicester fans tell us, you know. Guys, do us a favor. Keep tapping the like. 6 minutes and we've got over 150 people in the building. Big up every single one of you. Jason, welcome. How are you? We've got some bits to go through, guys. We've got some bits to go through. Welcome every single one of you in here. Let's get stuck into the stuff because I want to get the panel in at some point as well. Let me actually open up WhatsApp because I haven't got that open to even get them in. So we're going to start off with a little bit of transfer news and a little bit of other bits and bobs. And the first thing I want to start with is Marina, Chimami, have a that story. Marina Graviskaya, guys, last night was on Instagram talking about her 3 years at Chelsea another lifetime ago. Such a wonderful memories. Her holding the Champions League and her holding that big Europa League Cup. Bigger than her, to be fair, by the looks of it as well. You know, big up to Marina Graviskaya for everything that, that we've done with her in the club as well. Yeah, thought I'd just bring it up, it's Marina. We can't ignore Marina, guys. Easy, Gem. What are you saying, Josh? How are you, brother? Good to see you guys. Nearly 200 people already in the building. Let's go. Right, a little bit more news. Let's keep going because we've got a lot to get through. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Chelsea could possibly have a Carabao Cup 5th round tie and a Europa League Conference League match during the same week. Possibly. Could do. Would do. Okay, fine. It's not a shock. We play more than, twice a week anyway in the past. They were talking about in and around the last week of August that Chelsea could potentially be playing their Europa League conference game last week of August. So where are we now? June, July? Yeah, it'd be about right, wouldn't it? The league would have started. So the last week of August roughly is when we'll be doing that. So that means the Carabao 5th Cup would also join that. It is what it is. We don't know who we've got yet. In fact, we don't even know if Man United have secured number 6. Because from what we're hearing, they've got issues with Nice and Man United both being in the Europa League. They've been given till Monday next week to clarify that. Will they be able to clarify it? And what will be the outcome of that? We'll have to wait and find out. Because I don't think both of these clubs that are owned by Sir Jim Ratcliffe can both be in the same competition at the same time. So there's a good chance. There's a good chance, guys, that Chelsea Football Club could be in the Europa League still. So let's wait and see what happens with that as well. Hey, 206 people in the building. Big up to every single one of you. How are we doing it? If we had a big enough squad, bar injuries, then shouldn't be a problem. True. And I think we've got a very good squad on paper. And that's without us really going into the window and actually seeing if we can try and strengthen it. And I think we will strengthen it. But I also think we're going to sell players. More Chelsea football? Sign me up. Yes, Josh. Can we get Europa if Man United gets kicked out? Supposedly so. I mean, who else would it go to, right? Unless they kick Nice out. What happens then? What if they get rid of Nice but let Man United stay? I don't know how it's all going to work. I have no clue, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. Right, transfer news. Let's get into it. Where are we at the moment? We've got Enzo Maresca talk coming on its way soon, guys, as well. Manchester United are considering a move for Trevor Chalobah. Chelsea are willing to sell Chalobah to meet profit and sustainability. By June the 30th, the end of next month, they would want a transfer fee of around £25 million. Well, I think he's a £35 million player, in my opinion. If we pay £35 million for Disassi and £35 million for Badiashile, then there's no reason why this guy can't be, Just getting some air in here. It's a bit hot, guys. There's no reason why this guy can't be a £35 million player in my book. He's as we know, he's versatile. He's very versatile. He offers a lot of. Let me shut this quickly as well. Got this light on. There's no point of it being on. He's versatile. He's You know, he's a good cover. He's experienced in the Premier League. For me, 35 million easy. Nice get kicked out by Fresh Tire in their league, but Nice get kicked out. They finished higher in their league. Oh, they can't get kicked out vibe. Okay, interesting. That's good to know. 40 million for Chalobah is what Lucy's saying here. Add that 10 million United tax. It should be more than that anyway, Josh. When you look at how young he is, how he's performed since his comeback, he's easily worth that. Our mind is dumped full of negativity right now. Whoever our manager is, I will support him. No, listen, Adish, there's nothing wrong with that. Big up to you, Denison Bear. From a business perspective, surely United needs the pure profit from the brand is worth true. That's also true as well. I don't know how it's going to work, guys. Yeah, the price is 40 million for me. Josh thinks it's about 40 million. Guys, there's 250 of you guys here at the moment. How much do you think Trevor Chalobah should be sold within the market? I think 40 to 50 million myself. I think he's worth that. We should not be selling for 25. If we're trying to make pure profit here, selling Chalobah for 25 million makes no sense. Make your money, Chelsea. Make your money. Make it happen. So we have to wait and see what goes on with Trevor Chalobah. I hope we don't sign him, because that day when I have to say we have to sign him is a day where I ain't going to be too happy, guys. Chelsea offer 8.5 million for 17-year-old back Pedro Lima. Pedro Lima, guys, that is reported via Duncan Castle as well. Pedro Lima is a young Brazilian, age 21, played in defensive midfielder, who plays a defensive midfielder for Norwich City, but on loan from Palmeiras. So he plays for Norwich City as a DM. No, that's the wrong one. Is that the same one? I'm looking at a different Pedro Lima. Sorry. That's a different Pedro Lima. The Pedro Lima we're talking about is got an 8 million offer sent into him from what we're being told. 17 years old, Pedro Lima, the next Cafu. This guy's being touted the next Cafu, man. Baby Cafu, yeah, that's it. Sorry. This guy's being touted the next baby Cafu. He looks like Ake. Is that Nathan Ake? Oh, you Ake in disguise. Oh, you Ake in disguise. Change the model. He's highly rated in Brazil. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Very young, talented. The new Cafu, the young Cafu is on his way potentially to the club. 8.5 million. Listen, I don't mind that. You know, we've got Gusto, we've got James, top quality level right backs in them positions for sure. But imagine adding another young individual into that mix. I think we've got to get it done. I think we have to get it done. Why not? 8.5 million is not 8.5 million is not high risk. It's not high risk anyway. If we've got 8.5 million sitting there, do it. It's pretty straightforward. Now, Omari Hutchinson. Let's talk about Omari Hutchinson quickly. Fabrizio Romano's comments as of 2 days ago was Chelsea have already triggered the option to extend Omari Hutchinson's deal to 2026. The club planning to involve Maresca in decision on the new loan or stay-in, with clubs keen from the Premier League, the Bundesliga, and the Eredivisie. 2 more years on his contract, as called by Nizar Kinsella. But Chelsea have triggered the option to extend it till 2026. So what we do with Omari Hutchinson, yeah, why not? Bring him into pre-season. Give Maresca the chance to see everything that he has to his disposal and qualities. And then he can work out whether he thinks that individual suits their system best or would benefit from their system best, or if he thinks they aren't ready and they just need a loan, which is another thing. Like, because they could need a loan. 8.5 and off to Strasbourg. Yeah, even. Great piece of business. I agree. I don't know if he gets to the team. You're looking at Esteval. You're looking at Payaz 2025. You're looking at the potentials of Elise coming to Chelsea in this summer window. Could happen. Not heard much other than Man United and Chelsea being interested in him, but could happen. Could happen with the club. But I don't see Omari Hutchinson breaking in unless one manager decides to give him the opportunity, to be quite honest with you. And I think he should just go. Look, at the end of the day, we loan him to Bayern, Dortmund or wherever he goes, and he continues to push forward and aspire and become this really good player off the wing, and we end up selling him. We've just made profit on a player that was probably only worth like 10, 15 mil. He could go for like 30 mil, 40 mil in a good position, in a good stead. So it is Profit FC. He's got to be Profit FC. You've got Angelo as well, Amari, Palmer, Madwaki, Esteval, Paez. Who else you want to add to there? Who are we missing? Elise, if we get him. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. It's a lot of players. Right, the goalkeeper. Now, one of the things that's been spoke about a lot since Maresca coming to Chelsea, which we're still waiting to hear, the official here we go, is goalkeeper. And we're being told that Chelsea will be in the market for a goalkeeper for Maresca's type of way he wants to play, system, style. Petrovic is not great with his ball at his feet, and neither really is Sanchez. So Ben Jacobs, so we had on the last show, big up to him, understands that Chelsea are exploring for a new goalkeeper this summer. It's become more of a priority position because of the kind of profile Enzo Maresca's system requires. He needs a goalie who's comfortable with the ball, but comes into that central role. And when I watched him, he asked his goalkeepers to come quite high up the pitch to join the centre-backs in linking the play. So he's like another option. Do you think it's quite risky, in my opinion? And you will need someone that is very well drilled, and someone that's very comfortable on the ball, like never loses the ball, in my opinion, to be able to do what he wants to do. But Villarreal's Flip Johnson is a one possible target. I don't know who he is. Is he good? Does anyone know? Is he good? Philip Johnson. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? He is a 22-year-old goalie from Sweden, is he? Denmark. From Denmark. Okay. Interesting. Is he good enough? Well, he's played 38 games in La Liga. No, that ain't giving me the best picture. I need to know, I need to know more. How many clean sheets has he got? So in 37 games, which means he's played 36. He's played most of the La Liga. He's played one game in Europa League for Villarreal. He's conceded 63 goals and only has 6 clean sheets. He has 6 clean sheets and has conceded 63 goals. Reminds me of Kepa stats, that does. That reminds me of Kepa stats, man. Yes, big up, Matt. What are you saying? That is Kepa stats. Look, that's proper Kepa stats. What the hell? What the hell is this stat? 37 games played, 4 yellow cards, 64 goals conceded in 37 games, 6 clean sheets. You're mad. Are you mad? Who's the other guy that they're talking about as well? And then it goes on to say Valencia's Georgi Mamadashvili. Now, I know this guy is quite highly rated. So let's have a look at him, shall we? Let's have a look at him. Someone was telling me this guy's good. I've watched bits of him, more than the other guy, that's for sure. But I want to know what his stats are. I want to know what his stats are. Okay, better. 37 games. He had a red card. Okay. He's only let in 41 goals, but he has 13 clean sheets out of 37. Still, entirety not too bad, but I've heard this guy's really good. He's a really good goalie. He's actually from Georgia. Quite tall. I'd have to just see more about him. Hush. Big up gems. Hush. Can they save an Arna's good on the ball and he couldn't save a PD? That's true. That's true. Ortega, definitely. I like Ortega. I mean, if it was my choice, listen, Edison leaves to go Saudi and then they go and buy that goalie from Porto. What's his name? What's his name? Diego. What's his name? Costa. Diego Costa. If they go and sign him, for example, and put him number 1 when Ortega wants, that's it. Yeah. When Ortega's going to want his opportunity to play more football, then I'd go with Ortega, mate. I'd go and buy him. He's Premier League proven. He's a good shot stopper. And he's not bad with his feet, is he? He plays out quite a lot with Man City, right? Yeah, but not in his system, though, Josh. This is the issue. In his system, in what he wants to do, he really like. We've had managers that have always played out with the back with the goalies, but this specific manager, I think, wants the goalies to be even more involved in the build up in what we're trying to do. And I think it also means about him being higher up the pitch and playing like sitting in between the defenders and playing like 1-2s, especially when the opposition is playing a low block and then you're trying to pull them out. So I get why he does it, because it gives you another person in the middle of the defense that can play the ball, which means your midfield and your wingers can push wide. And I think it's a good another variation to what he wants to try and do. However, I think it's very risky. You lose the ball in that position, you've got your goalie that high up the pitch, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. I agree. No, I agree. But I think in how he wants to do things, he wants that. Diego Costa has played 45, conceded 38, and has 17 clean sheets. Interesting. Well, they've made it a thing that we are going to get a goalie. It seems like we're going to be looking for someone. Kepa or Sanchez has to go. Petrovic for me will probably be fighting for number one / maybe a number two. Because I think Petrovic is. I think we should be keeping Petrovic. I like Petrovic. I think he just needs more time. You know. Yeah, but he wasn't. He was more. I felt more comfortable with Petrovic at goal, and I know he conceded a lot of goals still, but I just still felt like, we don't need a keeper. Kepa's coming back. Why did you bring back my nightmares? Right now, I've got flashbacks. Ajax at home. Ziyech whips the ball in, hits the post, hits him in the face, goes in. I've got all these flashbacks coming back to my head. The home games where I've watched him do the most dumbest things. I'm actually praying. Hey, Grable Stealer, good to see you guys. Nearly 300 people in the building right now. Are we at 100 likes yet? You've got 15 minutes, guys, to get this to 100 likes. Guys on Chelsea Fan TV, 150 people over there. Get this to 100 likes, guys. 100 likes. This is the target right now. Before at 1:45, 15 minutes. I want to see that we're nearly on 100 likes, guys. GNA TV as well. We need to get it up, guys, over there as well. Let's try and get this up to like 75 likes over there, if we can, please. I don't think he was that bad, Josh. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't think he was that bad. All right, move. Oh, what have I done here? Oh, my leg, my hand had a spaz and just pushed the mic somewhere. All right, cool. There we go. We move because we've got to keep moving. I want to get into Maresca in a minute, guys. We're going to be talking about Maresca. Maresca! Let's talk about strikers quickly. What's going on with the strikers? What is going on with the strikers? Well, apparently Osimhen's out for 4 weeks. Gyökeres is out for 5 to 6 weeks. Everyone's going to switch to Sesko. And I'm going to say my thing on this striker thing, and this is how I'm going to say it. I don't care about the injuries because they're not playing anymore. So he'll be back for pre-season, whatever. That shouldn't really be much of an issue that he's injured at the moment, depending on what the injury is, obviously, but I'm assuming it's not too serious. If we don't get Osimhen and we don't bother going for 60 million euros Gyökeres and we look at Sesko, listen, there's a good player in Sesko, but you are bringing another striker who is very raw and undeveloped into this team, who's going to lead the line, and I promise you, is going to make mistakes. He's not going to be as clinical as you think he is. He will score goals because he does have a striker instinct, but he's nowhere near the article of what we keep talking about. We need a striker, a killer, someone that's going to come in the box and score goals and aid in Kunku and whatever. It will be straight rotation. I think it'll be straight rotation between him and Jackson. If Jackson ain't playing off the left for any games, then it'll be a switch between the two. And both of them players are both in the same position, in my opinion. Both develop him. Both have good qualities. We've seen it. But both not as clinical as people think in front of goal. Like, what is it we want here? Because, like, we go down the route of getting Sesko. Might be the cheaper option. But does it solve our finishing in front of goal ideas for the next seasons? I'm not sure. I think he will contribute to goals like Jackson has done already, but I don't know to what level do we change with Sesko in the team. If you go and get Victor Osimhen, then the pressure's already there because you spent that big bulk of money. He's a lot ahead in his own experience. He's a lot more complete in himself, even though I feel Victor Osimhen is not the greatest from a deep line. Yeah, he can win balls. He's tall. He flicks on. I don't think his hold up playing at is as good as Jackson's. I think he's good in front of goal. He's a killer. You put him in front of goal, score. But I've also even seen him miss chances. Like, I don't think there's a real killer. And I watched Gakares the other day. I watched a really good stat of him, and I like Gakares. I was like, okay, this guy's strong. He holds the ball up well, links up play. But he needed in each game about 3 or 4 chances before he scored one. And they created a lot sporting because of the way Amorim plays. And the way Amorim plays creates you a lot of chances. And he had a lot of chances. Yeah. And he was missing 2 of them, and then scoring the third, or 3 of them and scoring one. Does that make sense? So even he ain't as clinical as people say. So yeah, he scores goals, but his is based on probably more on how much is he being created per game. I don't know with Osimhen. I've not looked at Osimhen's how much he's created to how much he's scoring, because we talk about getting clinical strikers, like actual clinical finishers that know where the goal is. For me, a clinical finisher is someone that can come on the pitch within 1 or 2 shots on target goal. And I'm not saying they do that all the time, but the majority of their process progression throughout their years as strikers, the elite strikers, is ones that just always either on target or in the back of the net. Like, no, that's my thing. Who is clinical? That's a good question, Black Lad. Like, who is clinical? There isn't an actual clinical striker. So if there's no one actually clinical, what are we doing here? Should we be looking at the profile of striker? Because I think we have to. I don't think it's about doing what we did with Lukaku. Just bring him in, playing the team because you scored 30 odd goals last season. No, the profile didn't work. Lukaku failed because what he had around him wasn't not built around him, but didn't suit his profile. So it's the same thing. We need a striker that suits the profile of what we're doing. And this is where we have to get it right. And maybe if Sesko coming in, adding to goals, but knowing that he's very raw and undeveloped, and then working his way like Jackson, gives us more of a better opportunity to who then becomes a bit more clinical and takes that number 1 position. Maybe that could be the case. But, you're going to spend 130, 40 million on Victor Osimhen. He has to be clinical. And I'm not sure if he is. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. And again, he's got to fit the system. Exactly. So, yeah, of course, we get that. But I'm saying mentality was a problem, but he still didn't suit what we was doing on the pitch. There was games where Lukaku didn't even have a touch for like 30 minutes in a game. Imagine being a striker. I'm only having no touches or 1 after 25 minutes. Big up Eric Blue in the building. Guys, there's 300 people in the building. Smash the likes, guys. Run it up. I'm going to be checking at 145 the likes. Keep getting the likes up if we can. He is tall as well. He is physical. But we're going to have to see, guys. We'll keep you posted on striker news. We are now going to go into Enzo Maresca talk. And where are we with Enzo Maresca? Well, this is the last quote from Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea's Enzo Maresca's contract at Chelsea will be valid until June 2029 with an option to extend further season. This will be an agreement with the Italian manager and his staff too, as reported yesterday. So what is it? It's a 5-year contract. Is that a bit steep to give a 5-year contract to him? Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, I think it is slightly steep. However, when you look at the costs that they're paying him per year, 5 million, including all add-ons and whatever, 5 million, compared to what we were paying Potter on his contract, which was 12 million, nearly 12 million, including add-ons per year. It makes sense why they've gone for the longer contract. Shorter-term contract maybe costed them a bit more overall. So they've gone long-term to reduce the cost, a bit like what they do with the players, 6, 7, 8-year contracts. They've just done the same with the manager. But paying him 5 million a year plus add-ons is a lot better than paying 12 million a year plus add-ons. It's basic maths. We know that. So And this is the other thing. It won't stop them sacking him, by the way. It won't stop them sacking him. Yeah, guys, like the vid if we can. It won't stop them sacking him for sure. It just won't. You know, if they sack him, they sack him, and then they do what they did with Potter, which had a mutual agreement, you know, like, or Pochettino. But yeah, this is where we're at with him at the moment. Still waiting for that fully signed, agreed. Here we go. Maresca is Chelsea. We're pretty much 90% there. We're waiting for the sign off there. Now, we want to talk a bit more about Maresca. We've got the boys coming in a minute as well. Get them involved. There was something else I wanted to look at. I wanted to read this as well from Nick Purrell as well. He says that Enzo Maresca's tactics, the Chelsea players are understood to believe that Maresca's preferred tactical plans can help them thrive and that his ideas would prove a good fit. He's preferred 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1 formation shifts to a back three in possession, with an inverted fullback creating the potential for an extra man to operate higher up the midfield. We know this, and this is why we want to see, which we did see under Poch, an inverted fullback, Enzo Fernandez further up the pitch. But Enzo Fernandez's job's going to be variated as well. And obviously, we're going to go into that a bit more detail, I think, later on. I'm really going to be intrigued to see how he thinks he can get the best out of our midfield, being that he was a midfielder himself. And apparently, most of his tactics are built around his midfield. His midfield are what make it tick. And that's why he inverts midfielders and things like that as well, you know? Use of Palmer and Nkunku. I think they'd play more of an inverted forward role, Chelsea. I really do. I think it'd be more like attacking the space through the middle behind the striker. You know, that's where I think they will go. The Chelsea players were said to have been dismayed by the departure of Pochettino, but they were also not blind to some of the issues that had developed between Pochettino and the Chelsea ball. And with Maresca set to take with the helm at Chelsea, the mood in the squad has lifted markedly. Or maybe Lavia and Palmer have been able to share their experiences of him already without him meeting him. I do think he's going to be a very good man manager. He does speak a number of languages, by the way, which is massive, because if there is an issue in the squad, he can correlate and get his message across. That means he can talk to all of the players. You know, multi-languages, easy. I like that. He can grow that man management relationship with them, to trust him, to trust what he's trying to do. He's just got to make it happen. And for me, I always keep saying it with this, is that it's the proof in the pud. I will give any manager a chance. Even Pochettino, I gave him the chance. Didn't want him. People know. Well documented on this show. I said why I didn't want him. And it ticked a lot of the boxes of what I said, which wasn't a good thing for me, because we had to watch that. It hurt. I wanted to be wrong when it came to Pochettino. But with Maresca, I can't formulate an opinion yet. I just know that he's very articulate with his formations. He likes variation. But he will be under pressure, maybe even more than Poch. Champions League, Cup, potential in the Europa League Conference. I expect us to win that. I'm telling you now. I expect us to win the Europa League Conference if we're in it. He will need to get us ticking straight away. He'll need to make it work. And I pray this season we are okay with injuries. And if we're missing 20% of people, but still have 80% of the squad, I think we're strong. And when I look at the overall squad without the additions that we're going to add into it, potentially in the summer, it's a very good squad. It's a very talented, good squad of players. It just needs someone to come in, get them. Does he speak match day more? And he'll need to learn that. So he's got a lot, you know, there's a lot that I'm willing to give him the opportunity and chance to, and us as fans should do, guys. It's, you know, you can be upset about not wanting him or he's a championship manager. I get all that, but we need to, as a fan base, give these guys a chance. We have to. We have no choice. Whether we like these owners or not, this is who they've picked. And if it doesn't work this time, Winstanley and Stewart are gone, by the way. They're gone. I have to be gone. Because they're the ones that have forced this move as well. compared to what maybe the owners may have wanted, which may have been what you wanted, more of the experience side. Maybe. I don't know. But, you know, I do think that their jobs are on the line with this appointment. I don't think they're going to continue to just keep allowing them to do this if we're going to keep failing. Enzo Maresca is back from staff. Willie Caballero, who used to be a Chelsea goalie. Danny Walker, the coach. Mikel de Bernardin, the goalkeeper coach. Ben Roberts, the goalkeeper coach and head of global goalkeeping. Go on, Ben Roberts. He might have a say in the goal type of goalkeepers needed. Marcos Alvarez, fitness coach. Bernardo Cueva, set piece coach. Interesting. And that's the one for me. This one. We have to get a good set piece coach, because the one thing that we sucked on last season was defending corners, defending free kicks, and just defending set pieces in general. Awful. Awful. And a part of that was the way we were set up. Javier Molina Caballero, analyst. He has an analyst. He has an assistant coach, a goalkeeper coach. It's quite a big number in a team. You don't realise how many people are actually involved in it. It's mad, isn't it? He's stubborn with tactics, which is concerned. Look, and he could be. But if he's stubborn with a variation, then it's different. Stubborn being Pochettino playing the same system that ain't working and with 3 or 4 down the line, with no little tweaks, is naive. If he does the same thing and it ain't working, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Oh, we're at 45. Let me have a quick look at the likes. I did say at 145 I'll check it, so let me quickly refresh. Are we at 100 likes yet, guys? Well, we at 100 likes. Let's have a quick look. GNA TV, we need to get this over 50, guys. There's over 90 people there as well. Everyone on GNA TV, slap the likes, guys. Chelsea Fan TV, not impressive. I'm not going to lie. 69. You guys are on 69 likes. There's 160 people there. That should be on 100 likes, guys. Hit the thumb. I'm watching it. I'm watching it go up now. If everyone hits the thumb, that thumb flies. Over 100 likes, guys. If we can, please. Please hit that over 100. And the same with GNA TV, guys. Hit the thumb. Hit the thumb. Everyone hit the thumb. I'm refreshing. I'm watching. I'm refreshing. I'm watching. 74, 75. This is slow, man. Why are we so slow? You guys don't want Chelsea to win the league because you're not hitting the likes. Okay. Okay. You guys are not. You guys are not. You don't want us to win the league. You're not increasing them likes quick enough, guys. I'm sorry. You're not increasing them quick likes quick enough. Go, 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 go. 80. We've got 80 on Chelsea Fan TV. Come on, GNA TV as well. We've got nearly 50 there. Let's go, guys. Run it out, run it out, run it out, run it out. I need to get these likes up. I'll continue the show once we get these likes up. There's one thing that we keep missing on here. What people don't realize, guys, is if you don't hit the likes on YouTube, it doesn't help the algorithm and it doesn't help help us as a channel grow. So we really appreciate you all being here. I really do. But if we don't hit the likes, it won't get spread, and then we won't grow as a channel. And that's what we want to equally try and do, right? We want to spread the message. We want to get more people in here, and we want to share it. Hit the like. I understood now. Hit the like. So yeah, that's that. That's that. Let's move on to a little article from Max, who is known as Pies. He's got his own name, guys. If you don't know Pies, if you do know Pies anyway, but if you don't know him himself, give him a follow here. He's written a little piece on 4 areas that he thinks Enzo Maresca needs to focus on if he wants to succeed at Chelsea. Okay, let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it. Then we're going to get the boys in. Then we're going to get the guys in town. In fact, let me just send it in there now so I don't forget. There we go. Where are they? Where are the boys? Who's them boys? There we go. So let's go to this quickly. 4 areas. 4 areas that Maresca needs to focus on if he wants to succeed at Chelsea. If it's that time again, another article where we are looking to the start of the year. Chelsea part ways with Pochettino after a bumpy and inconsistent season filled with challenges behind the scenes. He's replacing Enzo Maresca a former blah, blah, blah. Let's take a look at 4 things I believe Enzo Maresca needs to do if he wants the best possible chance of lasting more than one season. Something his predecessors, Pochettino, not haven't done. The first one is building a connection with fans. Now, some of you reading will think you build a connection due to winning. And whilst I agree winning helps, I find Chelsea a unique club in the sense that personal relationships between manager and fans have been that tad more important than other clubs. Think of Thomas Tuchel, Conte, Mourinho, Ancelotti, all of these guys. They are all made personal effort to connect with the fans in one way or the other. Then on the flip side, you can think of Rafa Benitez, Sarri, Potter, Pochettino, and others who failed to make an effort to build a relationship with the fans. Personally, if Enzo Maresca can get the fans behind him from day one, he'll have a much better chance of being supported in the rough patches, which there will be rough patches, and that's for sure. He ain't going to come here and we're just going to be amazing throughout the season. He's going to go through a period where we're losing games. I know he will. It's all part of the process. It's all part of the process, right? Going over to the Matthew Harding at the end of the game and clap the fans, go to the away fans who make the long travels with the team, clap together, show passion on the sideline, celebrate when we score a goal. These are the things that he wants to see. Profiling players correctly, squad management, massively important this for me. Chelsea will go into the season with UEFA Conference League to think about, which means more minutes likely to be shared around the squad. Whilst on paper this is a good thing, it can only be beneficial if Enzo uses the squad well, with consistent rotation and profiling players correctly. Enzo's likes to build up in a 3-2-5 formation and will bring more tactical nous than Pochettino. But if he misprofiles the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Colwill, Nkunku, Cole Palmer, then the season could be as fruitful as the looks on paper. Injuries were a big issue last season under Pochettino, with multiple well-connected sources stating that his relentless and intense nature of training sessions caused injuries and re-injuries to the squad. Under Enzo, training should be more tactical, more possession-based heavy, and less running, which should in itself decrease the likelihood of injuries. But if he does not rotate and continue his stubbornness nature when making substitutions, Chelsea could find themselves in a similar injury predicament. And I agree with that. I think he's going to have to utilise the squad even more this year than what Poch did. Poch didn't have much to play for. We had all them injuries. This season, we got a lot to play for. And we're going to need the squad. We're going to need the depth. They need to get it right in the summer. And they need to get it right with the board. Who stays, who goes, who comes in, who don't come in. These are all important things in making the squad itself is heavily in depth so that it can be rotated in games. Like if we're going away on a Thursday to play conference against some random team called Noah, which I've seen is on there, I've never heard of, and you don't need to play X amount of players. You can play maybe a mixture of others and still understand the fluidity of the systems and it works. And this is what he needs to get right. But he needs the depth. He needs squad depth. It's going to be different to last season in that instance, massively different. Couch is here. We're going to come to him in a second. Let me just get through this. Man management. This could also come under the bracket of squad management, but a specific focus for me would be the man management element of Maresca because the squad were firmly behind Poch. Several sources describe shockwaves around the dressing room when Pochettino left, and many squad members posted interesting posts on social media, which players like Jackson suggesting he was unhappy. Enzo Maresca needs to not only stamp his ideas on the team from the first day of pre-season, but also make sure that he is there to put an arm around the shoulder of every player. Provide an open door policy in his office, discuss personal matters with the players away from football, share jokes with the squad. All these elements listed above will help create a bond between the player and manager and will lead to the players showing similar fight on the pitch. Winning with style. Enzo Maresca has been selected by the sporting directors because of his style of play, heavy possession focus on technical ability, development of players and experience under Pep Guardiola. On paper, his style really suits a lot of our players, but the most important factor in football will always be results. Not only will Enzo Maresca need to be able to handle the pressure of the Stamford Bridge faithful and the media, but he will also have to deliver results with deliver top 4 finish by the time May 25th comes around. If he fails to hit these objectives, he will likely be sacked, which means for all talk about a project, his 5-year contract could very quickly become irrelevant should he not deliver consistent results. Overall, fans want to see the team that cares, a team that is structured and plays good football, a team that is good defensively, and a manager who brings the passion and intensity on the touchline that has allowed some of the previous managers to be included in the Stamford Bridge protocol. If Enzo can provide all of those above for the first season, he will be well on his way to defeating the Clear Lake manager curse that has already taken 2 scalps in 2 seasons. I agree with these. Winning with style, man management, profiling players correctly, building a connection with the fans. I think they're all important, equal stuff that I think we need to actually be aware of and address as well. Bro, Chelsea is dusted now. Fairs. Okay. We have couch critic in the building. We are onto our Enzo Maresca talks. We have got one more thing to share, but I thought I'd bring him in quickly. Obviously, Couch, good to see you as always. Your thoughts on Enzo Maresca? The comments that we just read there as well. Do you find them equally as important for him as the manager to get right if he's to ever to stand a chance at staying at this football club for another season?
Big up, Jam. Big up, chat. What's up, fellas? Hope everyone's feeling good. Can you pull up that article again? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought a lot of it was just some serious waffle. I'm not gonna lie. I know he's your man and shit, but it's like, build a connection with the fans. Like, of course, but you don't want that to be. That has to be natural. Like that can't be forced. Like, yeah, go out there and clap the fans and do like. It has to be a real connection. So for me, that stuff has to happen organically, right? Like you can't just force that on people. Like, yeah, make sure that you try and engage with the fans and whatnot. No, I want a manager that number one first knows how to win, and with that, we develop an organic connection. That's first and foremost for me. Not building connections with the fans. Profiling players correctly. Yeah, of course you want that, but that is always just subjective to what our fan base is about, right? Like, because everyone is like all over Pochettino about like playing Colwell at left center back in a back 3, saying he's a center back, even though, but the only reason why they didn't realize that he was basically playing with a back 3 is because we had Chilwell on the pitch. I agree, Chilwell should never have been playing as a right-sided or left-sided attacker. I agree with that. But Colwell's position on the pitch was correct. And if we're about to play under Maresca, he's going to play there. That's where people want to see basically Colwell play. So, anyways,
He wasn't an actual fullback. He's been used as a fullback.
So, no, I don't remember him getting forward very often, but regardless, I remember lots of situations where we played a back 3.
But he created goals from being over the halfway line and pinging balls over the top as a fullback.
Well, I think we had one assist to move it, right?
I don't think that he got forward a lot, to be honest.
He didn't, but we did score goals from him playing them balls over the top last season as a fullback.
Yeah, so he's good. So his passing range was used exactly. So whether or not you call him a fullback or you call him a center back or in a back 3, it's all about how you use that player. Like, what is his skill set? Like we looked at, I remember like even before this whole like Pochettino got here, people were like all complaining about how Sarri was using Conte and all that. It's like, what are you doing? He's a defensive midfielder. I'm like, no, he's a box-to-box midfielder. He wins the ball all over the pitch. That's why he used him that way. And everyone was all up in arms because they couldn't understand. Like, what do you mean? I cannot compute. How do you use this guy like that? Like it was just silly to me, right? And then Frank Lampard comes in, and then he's using him the exact same way. Not that Frank's a great manager or anything like that, but everyone was like accepting the fact that I remember the first thing that people asked, so how are you using N'Golo Kante? And he's like, not any different from how Maurizio Sarri used him. He's a box-to-box midfielder, wins the ball, and like everyone was like, oh no. Okay, now what do we do, right? So yeah, profiling players is correct, but it's just profiling them means using their skill set the best, using what they're good at and putting them in positions to succeed. That's what it is for me.
That's what he's talking about, though, isn't it? Profiling players correctly.
I think he's probably talking about that from a fan's point of view. He wants to be able to tell his buddies like, oh, we're playing great football. We all our players correctly. And then this is what he. Listen, I know you guys like Pies. He's your buddy. I wrote in the thing. If any of the 4 things he wrote mentions fans, trash the article, and it's the very first thing he wrote about. It's the first thing on his list. It's fans, dude. I don't give a baker's fuck if the manager has a connection with the fans. Win me football games, dude.
Yeah, but anyway when he's winning.
The match day fans don't give a shit either. If we're winning games, they will be cheering and singing his name, doing whatever the fuck. He doesn't have to clap him or do anything for them, man.
Absolutely.
Listen, I hate football fans. I think I'll love myself into it. They're just fucking retarded.
They're very fickle, aren't they? That's the truth.
Yeah,
they're very
fickle is a kind word. We'll use fickle. We'll just.
He goes on to talk about man management as well, which again I think we know is very important. The one thing I would say about Maresca is we know that he's got the multi-language option, isn't he? You know, he can speak to every individual, which is a very important.
The 4 does of football.
Yeah. You know, and I get all that. Like man management, I think is just key for any manager, really and truly, and getting right. To be quite honest with you, you have to be a good man manager when you've got a very depth squad, and we could have a very good squad depth going into next season if we obviously buy in, which it looks like we will, but also potentially selling. It's just how do we balance that, you know? So we'll see. And then winning with style, gonna win with style, guys.
Again, I don't care about how you win, just win. You know, like winning with style. Like, what does that even mean, man? Like,
listen, Leicester fans were getting on this guy's ass over a 3-1 win. A 3-1 win. They scored 3 goals, and they were crying about the style of football. Again, I don't give a shit what fans think about style of football. It means nothing to me. Win. I don't care if we win 1-0 or 5-0. Win the game. I don't style. Win with style. I want to see some flicks and kicks on those goals. I want to see some backheel goals.
You know what's funny? Some of our most iconic managers are most iconic managers.
The worst football of all time.
And nobody cared because we won.
No one gave a shit.
Because they had this connection.
Boring as fuck. Jose's football boring as fuck. No one cared. We were winning.
Exactly.
All right, well, we got. I was going to say forward, but I'll say ads today. Ads.
What? What do you mean? Who's ads?
I don't know who's ads. It says, and he's changed it to forward, not forward.
Oh. So you know that little change there makes it easier to not want to call him forward. So I'm like, what is that? Okay,
that's there, so it could fit on the screen for a start, and now it's gone to 116 because you said it again. But anyways, yeah, I'm here. It's good to be here. Yeah, life's good.
Life's good. Talk to us. Enzo Maresca is in the town. I wanted to talk to you guys just overall about Maresca and because I know a lot of us in here have done a little bit of like checks back, checking him tactically, checking how he is, like, looking at all this in-depth side of him, how he likes to set up the dynamics, the variations. I know Don's been dealing into it as well, which obviously we'll get him involved as well on it. But from your point, Ads, like, what's your thoughts about Enzo Maresca's appointment, and do you think it's going to be beneficial to the squad in terms of the type of manager he is?
I mean, listen, any signing would have been a gamble. It's just interesting that we go for this. We go for giving a 5-year contract to a manager whose best work was done in the Championship. So of course it's a gamble by ownership that, for me, have already made a lot of mistakes and really need this one to go right. And obviously they're giving him a 5-year deal, which again is a huge vote of confidence. He's on $5 billion in a year, which is a decent amount compared to the 12 that they offered Potter. So at least they've made that sort of correction. But yeah, in terms of him as a coach coming in, it's like I'm in two minds about it, because obviously there's the first thing, which is it's a bunch of guys who haven't won, hiring a manager who's inexperienced and obviously hasn't really won anyways. Like, yeah, you won the Championship and great for that, but have you got like a credible CV in terms of depth? No, you haven't. And have you done it at the top level? No, you haven't. So it's a lot of things that are unproven, and we're going to have to see tested in a Chelsea team that has a lot of players who are talented but unproven. So it's a mesh of talented, unproven people working together, seeing that they can succeed at the highest level with a club that is on the elite level, is spending elite money, has elite expectations, but of recent hasn't been moving like an elite club. So have to wait and see. With that, it's a huge risk. But of course, as a coach, yeah, he's quite tactically astute. He has his methods, and they've looked well. At least it looked good at Leicester. It didn't look great at Parma. So we have to wait and see how it's going to actually work out here. So it's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and they're only going to be answered once we actually see it playing out on the pitch.
Ads, can I ask you, who do you think wouldn't have been a gamble as a manager? Is there anyone out there you think that guy would have been a sure thing?
No, for sure. Like I said, everybody is a bit of a gamble. It's just this one, it feels like more of a gamble. Again,
that's what I'm asking. Then who is one of my like more of a gamble than? Is there a manager out there that you would say, oh, this guy's a for sure thing?
No, I wouldn't say anybody's a for sure thing. So
Okay.
again, for me, going into the season, I would have, like I said, nobody's a for sure thing. I think for me, like, I would have maybe been looking at guys like, obviously, let's say Spalletti, Hansi Flick, obviously Nagelsmann already turned us down. Like those kind of guys, I've already accepted they won't join because these sporting directors who haven't won aren't going to try and hire somebody who's going to challenge them. They need somebody like a Potter, somebody like a Poch, somebody like a Maresca or McKenna who kind of fit their ideology and aren't going to challenge them on transfers and these kind of things until maybe they win stuff. Guys like Nagelsmann coming in, they would have already been like, listen, I'm only going to come if this and that is okay. And that's why they didn't want to try and even enter negotiations with Hansi Flick and these kind of guys, because we saw what happened with Nagelsmann. He laughed at them in the face, so that this isn't going to work for me, and he said no. So I've accepted that we have to hire in this kind of category. De Zerbi is a bit more proven, like he's got more like experience as a main man. So that to me on paper seems like less of a gamble, but Maresca has his pros and cons. I'm not going to completely shoot it down and be like, oh, he's a flop because he's a championship manager. He's not going to do well here. No, he could do very well here. I think we have the players, providing that they stay relatively fit. You have a very good squad of players that any manager worth his salt should do pretty decent with. So we have to just wait and see how good pretty decent is going to end up being. Because for me, my expectations going into the season with Poch in his second year are going to remain. I want 70 plus points at minimum 4th place and a trophy. And one of those trophies have to be the Conference League.
Well said. Well said. I agree with everything that you said there. Everything.
I think it's a very good analysis, and I understand. I agree. I think we listen. You know what, I'll save myself to last. Anyway, Don, Enzo Maresca to Chelsea. I know. Look, De Zerbi was your guy. We didn't end up getting De Zerbi. We've gone down the route of Maresca. I know you've been doing a lot of research on the guy as well, bro. Oh, firstly, good to see you as always. What's your thoughts on this appointment, man?
First of all, man, big up boys, big up the chat every time, man. Good to be here. Good to be here, man. But yeah, listen, everything that Ads is saying, I agree with it, and I hear where it's coming from. I don't blame him for being skeptical, because end of the day, these lot have come in and they came in with a lot of talk, you know. But all we've seen is mistake after mistake after mistake. So if someone's doing that to you, bro, you're not gonna be fully sold on something which looks good on paper, because on paper, yes, it looks amazing. You know, we've got these technical players, we've got this squad, and now we've got a manager that we're trying to bring in who can align with the players that we've got. And that's what I've been asking for, right? But at the same time, Ad, you kind of have to look at it in practice, because when Poch decided to go and play the system that was all begging for, look what happened to the team, bro. We win 5 games in a row, you know? Certain games this season as well, but last season now, you know, where we were set up correctly, we played very well. I can think of Man City. Every time we played them this season, we didn't lose. We could have potentially won that game at the Etihad if we didn't bring on Chalobah that early. You know, at home as well, we could have potentially won that game. You think of Arsenal at the Bridge when they set us up correctly, we should have won that game if it wasn't for Sanchez. So there's obviously players in this team that are capable of playing well, but it's just we didn't see it enough because of this stupid manager. And I feel like Poch has warped a lot of people's mind, including rivals, into thinking that these players are worse than what they are, right? For me, how I look at it, this team needs a shape up, yeah? And a shape up is keeping as many people fit to obviously help kick on, right? And making the right additions in the summer. Because a lot of these guys that we've had to depend on this year have been squad players. These should be players that are coming off the bench. Do you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But I honestly don't think this team is as bad as what people try and make it out to be. And for me, like I've said, looking at Enzo and how he plays, the style of football that he plays, bro, it's exactly what these men need. Yeah, because you don't know I wanted De Zerbi, but a main thing that I kept talking about, a sticking point for me, was I don't see much variation in his game. You know, off the ball, you know, Brighton like to press quite high. They leave a lot of holes in behind. They leave a lot of space in behind. And obviously, they were on the end of a lot of batterings. And I said to you lot in the group chat, listen, here and there, if the players have an off day, we might get battered one day. But for me, I can see us scoring a lot more goals, and defensively we might be a little bit better because we've got better quality in comparison to the Lewis Dunks and the Igors and those sort of players. Do you know what I'm saying? But when you look at Maresca, bro, on and off the ball, yeah? Let me start off with on the ball, right? On the ball, the variation in the attack is crazy, bro, right? The way they build up from the back is very patient, very similar to De Zerbi, and he normally has like a pivot. So he normally has a pivot of either a right back or he will get a centre back that pushes into the midfield to help out with the build up. Bro, this guy had Harry Winks looking like Xavi, bro. Harry Winks, yeah, at Tottenham was looking like a mess. Yeah, Harry Winks in this system. Every clip that I'm watching in the build up, yeah, he's just popping it off. 1-2 touch.
Serious.
And that's what I want to be, and that's exactly what I want to be seeing from the midfield. I don't want to be seeing Enzo Fernandez overlapping at left wing like what he was doing against Everton. You know, I don't want to be seeing Enzo Fernandez trying to crash the box, right, as a 10, as what he was doing majority of the season, right? I want our midfield to be used correctly because they're technical players who want to combine together. Remember I said to you, Caicedo, bro, when he was at Brighton, he always had someone to combine with, right? And that's exactly what I was seeing at Leicester, right? The way they combine together. And what that did, bro, it makes the other team press them in the first phase. When they press them in that first phase and Harry Winks is just popping it off, straight away the centre-backs are playing it into the second phase now, in between the lines. You can imagine Palmer in between the lines. You can imagine Nkuku in between the lines. Now we're attacking them as a 5, bro, because he plays a 3-2-5 in possession. Do you know what I mean? So the attack is really fluid, right? And then off the ball, when they lose the ball in transition as well, one thing I noticed, yeah, their counter-pressing is spot on, bro. I was counting within 5 seconds, the way they just hound the ball and try and win it back is crazy. Yeah. And when it's in a position where it's not in a transition where they can actually sit back and get into a shape, it's usually like a 4-5-1 that it goes into, right? And it's like a mid to low block. And it's very, very hard for teams to play through it because they stay compact as a team. Yeah. And if you look at Leicester's defensive record, bro, they had the best defensive record last season, bro. They only conceded 41 goals. And at the same time, they scored the 3rd most goals last season. Yeah, and that's one of the main things that I was worried about of De Zerbi is the defensive record. But with Maresca off the ball, it's like he's drilled these lot to be compact. He can change up. He's got variety in his game. He's got variety in his game, and that's what I really like. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I honestly think it's a smart signing. Yeah, it's
okay. So Don,
it's a smart signing for me, bro.
Don, before you go too far, because you're talking about Enzo and Caicedo combining in the midfield and being a partnership and a duo. Does that fit with Maresca's philosophy? Because I'm of the belief that it's going to be Reece James that's coming into the midfield, partnering with Enzo, and then you might see Caicedo play the Ndidi role as like the box crasher.
Exactly that. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, because he had Ndidi playing as an 8 and he had Drewsbury Hall playing as an 8, and you see this Drewsbury Hall guy was just balling out as well, bro. The way he crashes the box, the way he just gets in and like he gets around the pitch. It is really good, but you can see the quality, bro. This guy's better than Gallagher for me, innit? Yeah, but yeah, in this dynamic, because he plays a 4-3-3, you're gonna have it's a sticky one because you could probably have Caicedo as the deepest man, and then you've got Enzo in between the lines, crashing the box, right? Because for me, Enzo can't be that lone. I say lone because you're gonna have someone inverting, but I don't really want. It's a hard one. It's a sticky one. You could play Enzo there, yeah, cool. If you invert Reece James, then yeah, he's got a little bit of help there, and then Caicedo in between the lines. Or you could play Caicedo as the one holding, and then you've got Reece James and then Enzo.
I think that's the
reason why I think it's going to be Enzo is just because the usage of that midfielder. Like you want a guy that can be effective having 100 touches. 80.
Yeah, like a Harry Winks. Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, it will be an Enzo Fernandez with a Reece James inverting and helping out. Yeah, you are right when you say that, actually, because I saw Harry Winks in that first phase a lot. So it probably will be him. To be honest. But listen, when he plays that role, Harry Winks wasn't the one that was pressing up. So you're not going to see Enzo crashing the box. That's going to be on Caicedo to do that, right? Or the other 8 that's playing in that role. Enzo's just going to be keeping the ball ticking and basically doing what he was doing under Graham Potter. And that for me, that's his best role. Just dictating the game.
What do you do with Lavia?
This is the thing, is it good?
Lavia's rotation. Lavia's rotation to me, like we're talking about 60 odd games this year. He's coming back from injury. I think he plays when he gets into the side. He's going to be deputizing for Enzo, as far as I'm concerned. That's why I think he's best suited. Building from the back, press resistance. Picking passes and whatnot. It's just going to be them two dovetailing off of each other. And to be honest, I think if if Enzo does go to the Olympics, I think that's going to be the perfect chance for Lavia to come in and get minutes and show what he can do in that role. You know,
yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's spot on. You're spot on, Couch, because for example, if you've got Enzo start the game and Lavia's on the bench, for example, but then you take Enzo off after 60 minutes or 70 minutes, there's no drop off, bro, because you know Lavia's going to do that job well. And you don't even know, there might be a plan for Lavia to play in between the lines, because for me, his passing is very underrated. I haven't seen him that far up on the pitch. I've mainly seen him playing as a 6, so I can't see that. But obviously, Maresca's gonna show us what he's looking to do in preseason and whatnot. And at the same time, I don't know. Maybe he might be a little bit flexible and evolve a little bit, and maybe play a 4-2-3-1 to get Enzo and Caicedo in that pivot. I don't know. And do something like that. Maybe Palmer in a 10 and still use the wingers. But listen, in terms of him attacking, bro, I really like how he uses the wingers as well. Yeah, both the wingers. And if you go check the amount of one-on-ones in the championship last season, it was both of Leicester's wingers are up there. Mavididi and the other guy, I forgot his name, the right winger, right? And that's exactly what I need. I need Mudryk and Madueke to be getting on the ball as much as they can. And if it's not those guys and we bring in Olise, I need him to get on the ball as much as possible. I need him to get on the ball as much as possible.
I don't know if I pronounced his name right. Is
I forgot. Let me just search this, bro. Right winger.
He's nice.
Leicester.
He was nice.
Bro, he's good. He's good, bro. He's good, man. Let me get his name.
Fatanu or something like that.
Yeah, but he's good. But listen, a lot of the goals, because I watched all the goals that they scored last season, yeah. And honestly, in every single phase, the wingers are involved. Like 90% of the goals, they're involved. Whether they're getting goals, whether they're just popping it off and they're dragging defenders out of position, whether they're trying to take on their man. You know, I'm seeing a lot of people crash in the box. There's about 5-6 people in the box every single time. So every time the opposition's trying to clear the ball, someone else is just there getting a scrappy goal, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like that. I think Josh spoke about it earlier. I don't give a shit about pretty goals, bro. The main thing, get it in the goal. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the goals that they were scoring were quite scrappy. I'm seeing a lot of headers being scored as well because of the amount of bodies that they're putting in the box. But at the same time, they've got a lot. They've still got that base to help. They've got the person inverting, like I said, the right back inverting, and then you've got Enzo in there, for example, that can sweep up if you get done on the transition. So there's a lot of variety, man. A lot of variety that I've seen in their attack, and like I said, that's the ball as well. They look really good.
Has he got less excuse, really, with the systems and how he plays to not get it right with the quality of players we have?
Bro, you know what I said to you before about De Zerbi, yeah? And I said to you, I just don't see a world where De Zerbi comes in and doesn't utilize the squad well. It's the same thing as Maresca, bro. If he struggles to use this squad like Poch, then we're honestly cursed, bro. We're honestly cursed because this squad is built for a manager like him. Yeah, this squad is built for a manager. Sorry, someone. What is that? What is that? Someone's mic's going crazy. This squad is built for a manager like Arteta, the Peps, you know, the De Zerbis, these, you know, possession-based attacking managers that want to attack teams, right? Not managers like Conte and Mourinho and whatnot. That's why I'm a little bit more optimistic, I would say. But obviously, he still needs to prove himself. But even when you look at the quotes, bro, some of the players that have worked under this guy, when West Ham beat us in 2018, they beat us 1-0, yeah? Maresca was actually at West Ham as the assistant manager. And at the time, Pellegrini, with Pellegrini. And Pellegrini was actually about to get sacked, right? When they beat us 1-0, apparently it was Maresca that actually did all the tactics and whatnot. It was all him, right? Because I can't remember what happened with Pellegrini at the time, but he was the one that did all the tactics and whatnot. They beat us. You know, Snodgrass spoke about how his English is very good. That's another thing that's really key as well. When you talk about communication with Poch, a lot of the things that the brother's saying, cool, I hear it. You know, you're trying to speak English and whatnot. But brother, I'm struggling to understand what you're saying a lot of the time. You're waffling a lot of the time. But what Snodgrass said is his English is very good. He makes things very clear. He's a manager that I'm looking back on and saying I learned a lot from him. And even Drewsbury Hall spoke about the same thing. He said when he first came into Leicester, a lot of the boys were talking amongst themselves and they're saying, yo, how did we not understand this before? Like, he's made it so clear. I remember I said to you lot in the group chat before about, I used the example of school. If you've got a maths teacher, for example, yeah, that's teaching you something, but you just can't get your head around it. And you've got another maths teacher that teaches you the exact same thing. And you're like, brother, how the hell did I not understand that? It's the exact same thing with coaching, bro. Yeah, some managers, the way they show you things is a lot clearer than others. And for me, this guy's going to show the likes of Mudryk a lot more clarity. The likes of Enzo, a lot more clarity. The likes of Madueke, Nkuku, all these guys showing them the little details because it's very detail orientated. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't see a world where he comes in and struggles to work with the team that we've got. The only way he struggles is if they handicap him. If they handicap him in the summer, that's the only way.
I would caution on that. I would caution on that just because the Premier League.
Big up, Jam, bro. It's been a while.
Yo,
hey,
who that?
Is that Yellow Bus? Yellow Bus is back,
What's
guys.
going on, man?
Oh,
I haven't
Yellow
talked
Bus
to you.
is
I
in the
haven't talked to you in a
building.
minute, man. I mean, you stream a little too early for me.
Well, you're here now. Oh yeah, I forgot you're on the West
Good
Coast.
morning.
Yeah.
I am on
Yo.
the West Coast. It's like,
So,
yo,
yo,
I can count
just-
here and you can't be a Yellow Bus. Sort it out, man.
it's a little too early, brother.
Yo, I just gotta quickly say, just to dovetail off of what Don was saying, I would just caution real quickly on the notion that, you know, he needs to just work with this. It's gonna take time still. I hate to admit this to you guys, but it's gonna take some time because not because I don't think that he's a good communicator and like we don't have players that are ready to take on the instruction. It's because this is gonna be a very, very busy summer for the squad. It's gonna be a very, very busy summer for the squad. And getting all the guys together, getting all the ideas together, is going to be very difficult to navigate. So I'm thinking, I don't even want to put a timeline on it, but I think it's going to be another slow evolution before we see exactly what's happening. Unfortunately, but
I disagree. I disagree though because
well,
if
maybe
you look at, if you
there's
look at,
there's a lot happening this summer. There's a lot happening.
yeah,
You
no,
got
I get it.
The Euros, you got
I
the
get-
Olympics. And a new manager coming in with a new set of ideas. Like it's not going to be a hit the ground running thing quickly.
I get your point of view, Couch. But for example, if you go look at Glasner, for example, yeah, Glasner's been at Palace for literally 2 seconds, bro, yeah. And straight away, bro, even from the first game where I'm watching these guys, yeah, he's been with these guys for a few days or whatever, a week. I'm seeing a big difference in how they're playing, bro. Yeah. Straight away, you can see that this guy has obviously drilled his ideas clearly for these guys to understand. And don't forget, a lot of these players that were unknown last season, we've actually seen them now. Yeah, the likes of Jackson, the likes of Petrovic, the likes of Gusto, all of these guys, we can actually work out what sort of player they are. And they've obviously played together now, right? Obviously, we didn't build a lot of chemistry because of how Poch set us up, but they know each other. They're not strangers to each other, right? So I don't think it's going to take 6 weeks to implement a style of play. I think it will be a lot quicker than that, in my opinion.
Well,
It will take longer, Don.
Yeah,
and big
I
up
think so
everyone.
too.
I agree with Catch.
Here comes the Grinch. Here comes the Grinch.
and funny enough, I agree with everyone.
He's declaring it
With
again.
most people.
More time.
I'm glad that Catch brought up Sari early in the stream too, because it's gonna feel very Sari like. I think that he has a lot of same principles. He's gonna shoehorn some players to play the certain way. I mean, if you guys brought up Harry Winks before, and Harry Winks was brought in to do a role, very much like how Jorginho was pivotal, and so Harry Winks. So a lot of the principles, and with the goalkeeper as well, are very similar. And the Palace manager you brought up, he might not want to play that way. A lot of managers come in. Maresca might do this as well, just like Conte did, and be maybe, I don't want to say scared, but be kind of pragmatic, not wanting to implement their way straight away, and just play with the players they got, find something, and everything that you know about Maresca, he might not implement that way till later, because Conte did the same thing, and then it took some losses for him to go, that's it.
Yeah, but declare. Let me ask you. I get that. But let me just say one point before I let you finish, bro. Yeah. I just don't see a world where Maresca has been watching basically what Poch has been doing, because bro, don't have it right, yeah. These lot have been having conversations together. So him, the sporting directors and the owners, they've definitely said to him, yo, this is what Poch was doing, and we didn't like him doing this. We didn't like the fact that he's using people out of position. We didn't like the fact that he's killing people in training and he's being stubborn and not trying to change his ways. They would have told him every single thing that they didn't like, right? And the fact that that Poch changed the system way too late. So why would Maresca go in there and do similar things to what Poch was doing in terms of, I'm going to be a little bit pragmatic. I'm not going to play the style of play that they've brought me in for. I just don't see a world where he's going to do that when he's clearly seen where Poch ended up doing that, bro. Poch ended up getting sacked by doing that.
Yeah, I'll tell you why, because of what Cash just said. That it will take long. It will take time.
No. I get it will take time. Hold on. I get it will take time. The point that you said, the point that I'm debating, Declare, the point
that he brought up.
Declare
how principled he was about every little role.
You're not listening to what I'm saying, bro. The point that I'm picking out, Couch, yes, it will take time. I get all of that, because yes, he still needs to work with them. He still needs to do it. I get that. The point that I'm talking about is what Declared said. Declared said he's going to come in here and he could choose to be pragmatic and then go into his style of play, which
No,
I disagree with. Which I disagree with.
No, I said
thing.
that could be a possibility if he's not brave enough. Yeah, but
I don't see that.
Where
I
the
don't see
gamble
that.
is, he has to come in, right? And great point about the Euros as well. He has a limited time to get his style of play, and he's not gonna get the profile player and go, oh, this is best role for you. No, he has a system, right? And every player has to do a role. Some players might not play the best position or the best role, but to make it all flow, someone has to do it. And that's why I said it's very Sarri like. Goalkeeper's a big one. I feel like we have to buy a new one, right?
Yeah,
because it's so pivotal to things.
100%.
The number 6, Enzo and Casado, someone has to do that distribution. See, one thing they remember. Do you remember our build-up play was so bad, and then we brought Petrovic in, and then we just scrapped it all, right? You're going to see that again. The build-up play is something that's going to take time. There's going to be a lot of our mistakes are going to come from there, and also. Kind of like fast forwarding. And also the biggest problem Sarri had in his whole system and what crumbled every coach before, since is someone to finish.
Are you saying it's because we haven't got the type of players to play the Maresca system? Is what you're saying? You're worried that we're going to try things. It's just not.
I feel like we've got a mixed bag, but there's crucial roles, and if someone doesn't take the foundation of his principles,
that can happen though, isn't it? In any system.
But or it might take time. Like Enzo might flourish in the role. Let's just say, for example,
right away,
or Casado. Yeah, it might happen, or it might take time. It might happen second half of the season, and all of a sudden he understands the role, and everything just flows, and we just start playing great. Yeah, look,
I think sometimes I don't think that. Sorry, just quickly, I don't think that we're gonna have a problem with communicating what it is the ideas of the manager is. I don't think that that's gonna be a problem. It's just whether or not these players are able to adapt quickly enough to the tactics. And we don't know that. We don't know that. We can say that, yeah, this style is tailor-made for a specific player, this player, but we don't know specifically how quickly it takes somebody to adapt to a particular style of football.
But I can argue that we do know. I can argue that we do know, bro, because we've seen these lot. We've seen
them, but not in. Okay, what I'm saying is, it's not that you haven't seen these lot. It's the fact that you have to see them interpret someone's ideas. So one's ideas to the next idea. Like, yes, it takes time sometimes. Like sometimes somebody doesn't necessarily take to somebody's ideas immediately, even though they're astute footballers. Like we've seen it even under Maurizio Sarri. Maurizio Sarri had to bring in Jorginho. And then Jorginho was the one that was basically helping the squad understand where they need to be. Oh, you got to go there. You got to go there. You have to be there. He was basically dictating the tactics to everybody.
Yeah, so, I get that. I do get that. But what I'm saying is what Poch did to help these lot. What Poch did to help these lot. When we started to look better, right? That system that he was using, that, like I said, that 3-2-5 in possession is very similar to what Poch was doing in pre-season, right? To the point where rivals were looking at Chelsea and saying, yo, Chelsea look like they can cook something, right? So this type of system is already familiar to these guys. It's not like we're going from a Poch system that he implemented towards the end of the season and in pre-season to now go into a Conte or David Moyes or Thomas Frank counter-attacking system. They're completely different. What I'm saying is the recent system that these lot, that helped these lot play better and win 5 games in a row is very similar to what Maresca has been doing. So I don't see.
I would argue that the principles are different. The principles are different.
What I'm saying is they're similar.
They're similar. No,
that's why I think I don't.
Hold on, just let me jump in quickly and get a few.
Yeah, sorry.
Go on,
I think it's very, very different, right? You see with Poch's system, he's trying to get the ball to Palmer as quickly as possible. We could call it Palmer FC, but he's trying to get it to the wingers as quickly as possible. In Maresca's system, his center mid takes 120, 140 touches. Poch doesn't do that. So it's a very completely different way to play. Palmer's probably going to have the biggest adjustment from what I've heard than anybody else in this team. The midfielders might work just fine because now they're going to get a lot more touches. They have time. It's a little slower build. But a player like Palmer, who has been killing it with, the ball getting to him as quickly as possible on the half turn and different things that he's doing, he's going to get a lot less touches, because the focus is not going to be on the wings now in terms of them getting the ball as quickly as possible and dribbling. So these are adjustments that are going to happen during the season, and people might not like, because if Palmer starts scoring less goals, people might not like that, even if Enzo is taking 200 touches. You know what I'm saying? It's a give and take. So it's going to take them a while for that shit to blend, because it took Sarri a while. And Sarri had, in my opinion, had better players. He had all some all-timers in his team like Conte and these guys, and it took them a while. And it took having probably the greatest winger in Premier League history to make sure we didn't fall apart while people were understanding what he was trying to do.
Facts.
Right? So
and he also had Jorginho, who already was comfortable in the system and knew what to do in it.
But guys, you're missing. You're missing.
So for me, it's like I think it's gonna work. Like I'm seeing in my head, I'm imagining a Sarri type of season where it's gonna take you guys a while, and you have to adjust several times because the league might adjust to what you're doing, your passing system. You have to adjust there. Plus, another part is for all the guys that last year was their first year, that nobody knew who you were, no one knew how good you were or what you could do. They're gonna be game plans for you this year. For Jackson, I'm not going to press you tight because you can spin players and you can dribble. So everything's going to be different now. You have to adjust as well. So it's going to be an adjustment period for the new guys who last year probably had great years, like Gusto, Palmer, Jackson had a decent year. Like these kind of guys to kind of adjust, and also him kind of adjusting to the different level of pressure, and then figuring out how to not take away from Palmer and these guys who are doing well, but also give to the midfield and the back line so we don't concede 65 goals or 70 goals in this year. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's a lot that goes into this shit that I don't know if it's going to just work so fucking smoothly because this is his first job at this level. This is the biggest level you can get to, right?
No, facts.
We've seen guys with great ideas at lower levels that once they get to the big level and that pressure smacks them in the face and it's like, fuck, should I play Palmer? Should I play Palmer in 10 or in Kuku in the 10? I don't know. Maybe in Kuku should play. He's 60 million. There's a lot of pressure. Maybe I should play Palmer off the right. All that comes into play where you're not going to get exactly what you want to get. You know what I'm saying?
That's the little.
It works that way. Then to what if he doesn't play those players too? The pressure of not playing certain players if they don't fit. Big money players is what I meant.
That's the squad happy as well.
Yellow Bus. Just to reply to one point, Don, Declare that one point I want to say on Yellow Bus before you come in, bro.
Yellow Bus.
Is it Yellow Bus? Yeah. Is the Yellow Bus? Yeah, bro. Everything that you're saying, I agree with it and I hear it. And I'm not saying that Poch and Maresca have got the same system. I'm not saying that because I think Maresca's system is actually better than Poch's. What I'm saying is it's similar, right? It's similar, but there's varieties and there's differences in Maresca's system. I agree with that. I'm just saying that it's similar, okay? And in terms of the little intangibles that you've spoken about, bro, I'm sure we'll get into that in more detail, yeah? But yeah, you are right when you say that about the pressure and whatnot. That's one of the main things that I'm slightly concerned about, which is why he needs to hit the ground running and he needs to try and implement his ideas as soon as possible, bro.
Right.
One of the biggest points and the biggest difference is the build-up play. That's something that Poch scrapped. We were very more direct, right? The build-up play is the biggest noticeable thing that we're going to notice. But I want to agree with one of your points, Don, right? Which probably haven't said it. One of the positives that we have, one of the positives that we have is that we have young players, and young players are usually not rigid in their way of playing. So they're like sponges. I think they'll take to all the directions. They'll take to the style of play that he wants to play. And I think they'll absorb it way better than an experienced player who's been playing a different way, right? Because they're all black canvases. A lot of these players aren't that rigid yet. So I think the younger players will take to the system more better, but I still think it'll take a lot more time. Because it is a
let
more
me ask
complex...
you and Couch then. Let me ask you and Couch then. How long do you think Couch and Declare? Because you're saying you think it's going to take time. Let's actually put a time scale on it then. How long do you think it's going to take to implement his ideas, bro?
I don't know, but I'm saying this, and the reason why I wanted to address the chat first of all, because the reason why I think that it's going to take a little bit of time is not because I don't think that he has they were saying look what he did Leicester. I'm like, Leicester had a full training camp, full preseason. We're gonna have stutter start preseason because we have the Euros and the Olympics and whatnot. So he's not going to have the full squad to work with from day one. We're going to see it a little bit slower. So don't compare it to Leicester. Leicester had the entire preseason to work their ideas out and figure out what the philosophy is.
That's true.
I don't know how long it's going to take per se. Again, it's about how he communicates his ideas and how quickly the squad takes to it. I don't know. I have no idea. I would assume that maybe after maybe a month or something like that, hopefully, something like that. But
that's pretty quick, bro. That's pretty quick. That's pretty quick.
That is the way Coach was saying. I thought he was going to say longer than me because if everything goes right, like the keeper, the midfield, I think Christmas time, man. To be honest, I know it's long.
I
think it's just
Nah,
gonna be startup.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
I'll be
I'm
honest
sorry.
with you.
It's gonna take that long.
I think you're gonna see inconsistencies to the last 15, 20 games. That's
You're
how
probably
I
right.
see it. So because it's gonna.
I feel like Daniel. You know when we have all those
I think
games in the
maybe
middle.
you get.
We lost somebody.
Sorry.
We lost some.
No, I just
Man
think
fell
it
off the
could
yellow
take
bus,
longer.
bro.
Yeah, I just think it's gonna, because again, what Couch is saying is true. Like, you're not gonna have a consistent preseason this year, and you don't even know what's gonna happen with players coming back from all these international duties and what injuries look like, right? So, like, in our head, we might have the perfect lineup. Like, once he starts and he works with this 11 players, it's gonna be this. But who knows that 4 of those players are not gonna be there already till month 2, or this guy comes in 2 weeks, he's not really fit. There's gonna be a lot going on because there's so many tournaments going on in this summer that we're not gonna have a smooth sailing thing, right? So I'm expecting inconsistencies and a rough patch. Maybe not a rough patch. Like, we might have the style of play, but inconsistencies in terms of like the results we get to maybe the last 15 games.
So my thing is this, right?
Last
This is
15,
what
10 games.
I think where they're going to start again. This is just an assumption, but this is what I think is going to be the bit that maybe takes the longest for this squad. It's not to do more with about him getting the best out, the qualities out of this team. For me, I think the quality in these young players are there, and he'll work that out very quickly. I don't think he's stupid. Anyway, but we'll see. But I think it's going to be more to do with the intricate movements in the system. Like, it's where to position yourself in moments, from when it's from a defensive point to when it's to an attacking point. And then it's about them being fluent in between them periods so that we pick up quickly. That's going to be the delay, because the variations that I've seen him play with the system and how he likes to play, it is very different to Poch in a way. Yeah, in how we build up, how we move, how one goes there, the other one goes over there, then he has to drop back in, link the play, and then we try and move the ball from midfield to attack quickly, and then you need to get one or two midfielders up the pitch to join the attack. And, it's all got it's getting all of that to go, because we might be very good at playing it from the back and the midfield linking and doing what we've seen, but it might get to the attack and it might just break down a bit too much quickly. Maybe because they're in the wrong positions, or Palmer's not holding the position that he should have been, or he's pulling too wide. Or these are the little intricate things I think that he's going to have issues with. It's getting it so like to the point, where it just flows, so that when we play games, they're just they understand the movements, where they need to be in games, in moments, where to be. All right, this is the moment I need to be here. Let me pull myself over here. You know what I mean? Like, they're the things I think that the players are going to need to like work on the most in what he wants, because he's a very tactical played manager. It's not more about bringing the qualities out. What he's got, that will come. It's more about getting them to understand he's intricate, ways of laying them out on the pitch. Like he said, he looks at football like chess. He said that himself. He looks at football like chess. And as you know, with chess, one little thing wrong, it can disrupt the whole team. So it's about each player who's playing, understanding the movements, when to go in that point, when to not go in that. That's where it's going to take so long for me. And I don't know how it's going to take, in my opinion,
Yeah, every time there's some of these styles of play compared to other styles of play, it's you got to look at every role and how complex it is. I mean, if you look at some of the simplest ones where you just sit back and counterattack, majority of our team has a simple role, right? On where to go, positional wise, it's very easy to implement straight away. He has every position on the pitch, inverted, side loading, everything. Each player has to do a lot more. And everyone and one, a couple of those players can be, can take it straight away, like Don Hopes as well. And then some players will take a lot longer. I think it'll take him a while to get his best 11 even. That first month's going to be like what
I'm saying is I think it's execution. It's mainly execution again. It's like the same with Pochettino. It's just, can they execute what they're doing on training on the pitch consistently? We
need a number of players,
but it also depends, because
right? Even if you get your first 11, I just want to add this one last point.
New players, right?
Yeah,
just make sure those
5 new players, or let's say you get injuries
of high quality or have high tactical understanding, because that will help him. If you get him 5 players who are fresh, where he has to do a lot of work to like break everything down, like you can't get a Harry and Winks type of guy. Like, big up to them. Like, it took them a while, you understood. That's cool. But at this level, you kind of have to understand it right away. So if you're getting him 5 guys, because that's the rumor, that's what they're pushing.
Yeah.
They're going to bring in 5 new signings. Just make sure those 5 new signings can understand his tactics right away and help the others. You know what I'm saying? You don't want guys who would need more work than the guys that we have now.
No,
and that goes back to the point. That goes back to the point that I was making, Jim. That goes back to the point that I was making. I said the only way I see him being handicapped in terms of, you know, progressing as quick as I think he will is if they don't add the right additions, bro. You know what I mean? And one thing about Maresca as well, he actually, for me, in my opinion, yeah, bro, he actually helped these lot with their injury record. If you go take a look at Leicester's injury record, this guy managed to keep Justin and Ricardo Pereira fit all season, bro. Yeah, and if you go take a look at their injury record right now as I'm speaking to you lot, these lot have had some big injuries, bro. Yeah, I think Pereira even missed the whole of last season. The season before last when we beat Leicester away. Jim, remember we went together, bro, to that game. Yeah. Ricardo Pereira missed the whole season. Him and Justin, bro, being fit for the whole season is a miracle. And a big reason why for me is because he doesn't play this ping pong football. It's nice, controlled football. Yeah, and this is why you see the likes of Man City and Arsenal not getting as many people injured. So that's going to be a step in the right direction. If we can keep key players fit like Lavia, like the Reece Jameses, you know, like the Nkukus, because all these guys should be starting for us or could be starting for us even. They're very, very good players, you know. So that's what I'm saying, bro. He's going to be handicapped if they don't make the right signings in the summer. I'll be real.
That's true. And listen, I think we've got this far in the show about mentioning the fact that while he's quite critical in the context, it is not the mean that he's doing.
Ads, your mic.
I don't know who that is, but I can't.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah.
Yeah, go with it. Okay.
Can you hear me clearly now?
Right,
yeah, do that, man.
Yeah. We can hear you, Ads.
Okay. I'm gonna jump in since he's asleep and then. Okay. Yeah, just back to the chat again. Like, do people know that, like, even in South America, there's a tournament in South America this summer too? The Copas this summer.
What?
Yeah, we knew that. Yeah.
Well, so some people don't know that because they're like, oh, they're gonna be back. They're gonna get most of the team back. You know, no, there's gonna be a Euros and there's a Copa. So the people in South America are gonna be active.
And there's Olympics, by the way. So you're gonna
no doubt. I already pointed that out. There's a lot of football.
You know, he wants to go, doesn't he? He's already said, I want to go Olympics. So
yeah, but I think it's going to be up to the club to decide whether or not he goes because Olympics ain't really that big a tournament, and he's already participated in it.
When he missed,
and he's injured.
Start of the season.
Yeah,
he's not no more. He's training to full.
Well, still, like, he's in. It doesn't matter though. He's coming off an injury, man. Like it's a risk that I don't want to.
If he's going to Copa, are they going to pick him for the Copa?
Yeah, he wants.
Well, it's one or the other. It's one or the other. I think.
No, they don't. I think he needs a break personally.
I think they do. I think they do.
Bro, with Olympics, I swear it's normally just like the the guys that can't get into the first team for like Argentina and whatnot. Like remember back in the day, Olympics for us, we had I saw we had like Ryan Giggs and that playing. Bro, I can't remember who was it, Jim. We had like Daniel Sturridge and that playing. We had a completely different team for the Olympics.
It's like 3 guest players.
It's under 21, but 3 over 23, I think, or 3 over 21 can join.
Yeah, man, Enzo, bro, he's got his World Cup. He's got his World Cup, bro. He better chill, bro.
Yeah, but he wants to play, man. So Mascherano's probably going to pick him.
Yo, can you man hear me now?
Yeah. We could have heard you before. Sweet. I don't know why you went.
Oh no, for me, like my AirPods connected to it in it, so like the audio was a bit messed up for me, so I couldn't even hear you lot. But yeah, no, the point I was trying to make is that like I hear especially where Don's coming from in terms of like why he's confident that his style of football is going to adapt well with these players because we have a lot of technical players. I guess Jem's point as well that like there may be like a question of can they like execute the positional sense of the game, because there's one thing being good on the ball and being able to adapt to that part of the game, but then also like understanding where you need to be positionally on and off the ball, you know. So like that part remains to be seen in terms of how quick they'll adapt. But for me, it's like it's a lot easier. I'm not going to say it's easy, like the championship's easy, but it's a lot easier to do what he did in a league where you have the best players by far, to be honest. Like if you look at the squad of talent that Ipswich had or Southampton had or Leeds had, like they were good, but they're not nowhere near Leicester. And everybody below those top 4, it's a couple levels below Leicester. So like it's easy for him to get these ideas across and have these players who are just quite a good deal better than what they're playing against. And also a point that Dan or Yellow Bus made earlier, the point about the fact that you're coming up against better managers as well. So
you better stop repeating what this pineapple head said, all right?
That was a joke, but don't take it too serious. But anyways, but like the point about how like again in the Premier League, coaches are gonna actually like are gonna actually try and counter what you're gonna be doing as well. So you look at what Enzo's doing with top, again they started off amazing, but then when people actually caught onto how the fullbacks are both inverted and like teams are actually countering that really well, like so they struggled for a large part of the second half of the season. So these are the questions that we're going to have to see Enzo actually answer. And that's why like I have some skepticism. I have a lot of doubts about how good it's going to be in the long term. And we just don't know. And we're going to have to see what he does in pre-season. But then does he actually keep doing that in the actual season when we're taking some L's, we're having some hard games, we're having teams counter what we're doing and find ways to stop, let's say, Enzo who's in the wings role, you know? So
yeah,
we'll see what he does and see what other tricks he has up his sleeve. Because again, just one last point I make on this is that because he hasn't got the depth of resume, we don't know what he can do if his plan A isn't working. Again, that's why it's different with somebody like a Tuchel or a Poch came in. Like these guys actually change things on the fly. Like with Enzo, we haven't seen him actually go and do that.
Mute Declare, please. I think his mic's making a lot of noise. Ads, you make some good points, bro. Yeah, and I fully hear where you're coming from, especially with what you're saying about the Championship and the fact that it's obviously an easier level. But for me, bro, how I kind of look at it, bro, if you watch Leicester, the season before they got relegated, bro, they were one of the teams that allowed that mudded Chelsea team to beat them, and we beat them by 2 goals as well. Yeah, they had Tielemans, some of the ballers that they had, Tielemans, obviously Maddison, Driscoll, all of these guys, bro, should not have got relegated and shouldn't have been playing the football that they were playing, right? So they had to basically start again. So regardless of it being a Championship or not, he still had to implement ideas, bro. And for me, I look at the Premier League and I'm sorry, like there's been a big drop off in the Prem in comparison to what I grew up on. I'll be real. The Premier League is not what it used to be, and I feel like a lot of people, overrate the Prem. I'm not saying it's a Mickey Mouse league or it's a farmers league. It's not that, because there is still quality in this league. But bro, like apart from Arteta, Pep, who else was there? The Klopp. What other manager really would you want at Chelsea that's managing the Prem right now? De Zerbi, yes, I'll take it.
I hear that, but the thing is though, like there's a lot of really good coaches in the Prem. I can hear you, like maybe that the Prem is a bit overrated in terms of talent and the players. I agree with that, but again, probably like the top 20 of the top 40 coaches in the world. Probably the highest paid ones are probably like 20 of them are probably in the Premier League because of how much money is in this league. So you might not look at the clubs and say that they got great players, but Iraiola's in this league. Lopetegui's probably going to come to this league. Again, all these other Emery's in this league, managing a team that was like 15th, 14th in the table when he first came in. So like, there's a lot of really good coaches in this league that are going to adapt to what Enzo's trying to implement.
That's true. That's very true. But then, bro, I can go to the Championship, and I'm pretty sure there was probably managers in the Championship that were trying to counteract what he was trying to do as well. Because end of the day, it's not only the Prem where the coaches are going to look at the other team and say, "Oh, how can we try to stop their attack?" or "How can we try to stop this?" or "How can we try to stop that?" So I'm pretty sure there's Leicester fans that will tell you, when we played against this team, this manager counteracted this, and we lost this game because of that. So I could say that.
But are they as good? And they definitely don't have as good players as Leicester.
They had like a 17-point lead or something like that, and then in the end they kind of messed up. A lot of Leicester fans that I've listened to, they said a big part of that was because of they were missing a lot of big chances, but obviously that it can't just be down to that. There must have been multiple reasons as to why, innit? But I'm just saying that, and one thing about Maresca as well that I like, is that he's not alien to the league. He worked with Pep when the season that they won the Prem. He's obviously works with Pellegrini as well, and I'm pretty sure that he probably watches the Prem as well. So it's not like we're bringing a manager from like Wimbledon or something where it's like, you've got no experience whatsoever of actually experiencing the league. But I hear what you're saying at the same time. I get it, but for me, I don't think it will be that detrimental, if that makes sense.
I feel like Abs was more talking about us as the team catching up. Yeah, is that right? No.
I was talking more about like obviously like I hear what Don said, and like it's a fair point in the talk, and we're just gonna see how it plays out over the season. But like my thing was just like, again, like he's coming into this league where you're coming up against better coaches, but also like there is no like skill, like there's no level gap between our players and the rest of the league. Like we are, let's say for me, like 4th in the league, but there's some teams that are close to us in level, and there's some teams that are right now better than us, quite comfortably better than us. Which for Leicester wasn't the case. They were comfortably better than everybody else. Other than the top 4 or 5 in that league, everybody else was a few levels below Leicester in that league. So I'm just saying, in that aspect, it's a lot easier to implement your ideas when you're better than everybody else. But in this league, where it's a lot more competitive, a lot more better in terms of the coaching as well, it's a test that he has to hurdle, but it's also the first time we're going to see him actually operate at this level. So there's a lot of questions that he has to go answer for us.
Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, we made the point that it's going to take longer, and these good managers in the league are going to pounce at all our shortcomings that that we might lack in. Like I said, it might take time, and they're going to expose where we're lacking.
Yeah, because all tactics have weaknesses. No matter how good they may look, they all have weaknesses.
Well, 100%.
I mean, more or so if because we haven't even got the style of play going yet, so it's going to be more easier. If we play the Maresca way and everyone's doing everything, tactically it's going to be hard to stop. But when someone's lacking, so just could be one or two players, that's where they're going to hit. And if our build-up play, I'm predicting that the build-up play is going to be heavily exposed. If we're too slow at building up, which is the core principle of his style, right? We're gonna get pressed on. We're gonna lose the ball. I think we might, concede a lot of goals.
We got good guys on the ball. We got good guys. It's just understanding the system. We got good guys on the ball. Like I don't think
I think our build-up play is a bit underrated. Like obviously, with Petrovic is an issue, but we're gonna buy a new keeper, right? So like we can agree that we're gonna buy somebody who's comfortable on the ball.
Didn't we?
Yeah.
We witnessed that.
I agree.
What issue?
Was that? Like a lot of our build-up play was that's why we got exposed.
No, but like Sanchez is good on the ball, but he was making a lot of bad mistakes because he just has errors in him, right? Obviously, when Petrovic came in, he's poor playing out the back.
Is that
when Sanchez was doing it.
Earlier this year, when there were some passes and some movements where it's like our midfielders were getting pressured and they were losing the ball a lot. Like maybe it's because of the way the team was structured or whatever it was, but we saw it early on with Caicedo. We saw certain games with Enzo.
Because you're leaving. But the thing is though. You're leaving them by themselves.
Let me finish. But there is a possibility for what he said to happen if they don't understand where they're supposed to be. So if I have the ball and the two guys who are supposed to be next to me don't understand where they're supposed to be, those guys are not. They're not Xavi and Iniesta level where they won't lose.
Okay,
they're still
let me just go through it then. Let's go through it because what we're saying is we're saying a lot of generic statements here. Let's talk about the players that we've got then. So declare then, because you're saying you're skeptical about the positioning, and Dan, you've said it as well. You've made some good points, but let's actually make it specific to our players. Enzo Fernandez, do you think that he's going to have a positional problem playing a similar role to what Harry Winks has played?
No, because I think the more he's on the ball, the better he is anyway, and that's just me watching him. So
he's also better than Winks on the one, has a better passing range.
Okay,
now better range Winks.
Now, let me ask, Reece James, do you guys see Reece James having positional problems inverting into the midfield?
No, because he's played midfield before.
So this is what I'm saying. When people start saying, they don't understand positioning, I'm like, bro, are these guys idiots?
Respond to that? We do understand that people are not going to treat Harry Winks like his Enzo, like they did this year. When he first came and he had time on the ball and people saw, like I said, when you first come into the league and they see, oh shit, if I give him 10 seconds, he's going to spray that ball 40 yards. What happened this year? He doesn't have time. They're not giving him time.
It's a different setup, though. It's a different setup, bro.
I get it's a different setup, but wherever he's played this year, and I've seen it, they're onto him extremely quickly. They don't want to give him any time to turn.
Yeah, but it's how you set up the team, though. That's how you set up the team, though. And the difference is with this.
Lampard and Potter set us up terribly.
I'm just saying it's how you set up the team. Like you have to pick your poison. If they're gonna mark out, like you say, like get on Enzo, it's gonna free up other guys further up the pitch. Yeah. So like the way that he sets up his team is gonna be is vital to how teams are gonna have to pick where they're gonna be putting the pressure points on.
And just to be clear, nobody said that Potter was setting up amazingly last season or Lampard. But in terms of how they used Enzo just had more space in that system. And with Poch, it's different. He didn't have that same space.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say.
That's probably where we disagree. Is that I don't think it had anything to do with Potter or Lampard. I just think no one in this league knew how good he was on the ball. And they just went on him.
That's too simple. That's too simplistic.
He wasn't playing like a lone six this season, though. He wasn't playing like a lone six where he was getting more space. Like if he's playing in the wings, bro, he's not actually going to have more space because he's the deepest in the midfield when we're playing out the back. This season it was Caicedo. We had more of that space because he was the deepest six when we were playing out the back.
Ads. I just want to ask: did I just really hear a guy say that Enzo looked good when he first came because people didn't really know about him? Did I really just hear that tape?
Yeah, that's exactly what you heard. They didn't know
I'm sorry, that's crazy,
so
bro. That's crazy.
That can be crazy to you all you want, but I remember when
that's crazy,
bro.
Get
the ball and you have 40 seconds on the fucking ball to the side.
Okay, with that logic, then Daniel, with that logic, then, yes, everyone knows Cole Palmer now, yeah. Everyone knows Cole Palmer, so Cole Palmer's going to be shit next season. Then with that same logic,
he's going to get more attention. I'll tell you that much.
But Enzo was poor this season.
Obviously going to
go average. But your point,
Puglia the whole season.
I'm sorry, your point about Enzo balled out when he first came because no one really knew about him is, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous, right? The reason why was I'm about to give you a reason, bro. I'm about to give you a reason, right? Because the way Potter set us up and the way he played him, right, was exactly how Enzo needs to be used. He needs to be that deep playmaker, getting the ball in that first phase, right? And if you remember, last season, bro, we got rid of, I keep saying last season, 2 seasons ago now, yeah? If he played with Jorginho, for me, would have won a lot more games. But he had to be the Jorginho and basically be like the last midfielder because we had no DM, bro. We had no DM. And Enzo played that role very well. Do you know what I'm saying? And defensively, he ain't even that guy. He's not a Paulinho. He's not a Declan Rice to cover all this ground. But he played that role well because he was getting the ball deep and he was able to dictate the game. But with Poch is playing him as a 10. Poch is playing him. I'm seeing this guy overlapping left wing. I'm seeing this guy overlapping right wing. And then you're surprised that he's losing the ball. You're surprised that Caicedo under pressure is losing the ball because he's got all this space around him. He's got no one to combine with. He's getting the ball. He's looking around him. There's no one there, and he's getting tackled. And you're surprised by it. Oh well. If he gets pressed, he's going to lose the ball. Of course, he's going to lose the ball if he's been. Hold on.
Hold on, surprise. He lost the ball the same amount of times this year.
Hold on, Daniel. He was losing the ball in positions where he shouldn't be losing the ball because he had no support around him, bro. The support was way too far from him. Way too far from him. That's the reason why he kept losing the ball. But if like what Couch is saying, like what Couch is saying, where you change the system and you play this midfield a lot closer, like what we're seeing with Cucurella and Caicedo, you weren't seeing Caicedo losing the ball as much when he was being pressed because he had someone next to him to help him, bro. Do you get it? So I'm sorry, it's not because people have now realized what Enzo's like. It's because of the system that he was playing in. That's the reason why he dropped off this season, bro.
Okay.
Well, Don, to answer what you asked,
Puglia had nothing to do with it, right?
Say again.
The Puglia injury he had the entire season had nothing to do with it.
He had injury as well.
Yeah, there was that as well. Yeah, but I don't think it's because people didn't know about it.
The question about Palmer, we'll see next season when the entire league understands how good he is and they will adjust to it. Obviously, his performances are going to drop because that's what happens when a league understands how good you are and they actually game plan specifically for you.
I just hope when it comes to Palmer, I hope the conversations are actually fair, not just based on his GA has gone down when he's had a crazy amount of penalties, which we're not going to get next season. We're not going to get as many penalties as from the squads. I just hope the conversations on his performances are actually consistent and not just he's got 10 less GA, so he's been worse this season. It doesn't actually work like that, especially for somebody whose game isn't around stats. He's not Bruno Fernandes. He's a natural footballer.
He might not get the freedom as well.
We'll see, but it depends on how he's used. Again, just to be clear, right? Because obviously the conversation before we got derailed into like Endo under Potter and Enzo under Poch is like the conversation is more about our build-up, right? Do we actually have players who are comfortable on the ball to play out the back and actually be consistent in it, doing it either quick or being patient enough so that you're drawing teams out and we're not losing the ball in silly areas? And for me, obviously, if we address the keeper situation, because we know Petrovic isn't great on the ball, and Sanchez, while he's more comfortable, had a Bozo moment in it, right? So if we get a good goalkeeper that sorts that part out. Defensively, we know Cole, whether he's going to be the LCB or maybe he ends up being the middle CB, comfortable on the ball. Baddy is a very good passer going forward, but maybe not the best in terms of like movement on the ball. He can be a bit sluggish. But again, across the back line, I'm seeing a lot of players who are good on the ball, comfortable on the ball. So I don't really feel like there's that in terms of adapting to how Enzo wants us to play. We have the players in the back to actually play out the back quite comfortably. So I don't really see too much of an issue with that.
And the midfield. When you look at the midfield, we have 3 very good ball players in the middle. Caicedo, Lavia, and Enzo are all great playing with the ball. And I'm not even just talking about short distance because they can do that. It's the vision to cut ball through the middle and find the forward line or play that long range ball if they need to. Caicedo is so underrated with his passing; it's ridiculous. I was watching him; he spreads them left and right for fun.
Yeah,
like
bro,
and that part of what Don was saying earlier about that part part we should adapt quite quickly to his football. I agree. That part technically, the technical level of this team is very, very good. It's just other parts in terms of like us defensively. If we're going to be clinical going forward, which again comes down to obviously if Palmer has another great season, but also if we're going to sign an actual striker as well. So, and obviously Nkunku stays fit too. That these things I have more question marks about. But in terms of the technical level of this team, I have very few doubts.
And the thing is, and that's key for me, because the reason why it's easy for me to kind of say this here is because, bro, I've played at a decent level where I've been in training camps here with a coach where everyone is buying into what they're doing because it suits how we're trying to play. Do you know what I'm saying? And I've been in dressing rooms where the manager just doesn't know what he's doing, and we're all like amongst ourselves saying, bro, this guy don't know what he's fucking doing, bro. Do you know what I mean? So I don't see a world where the likes of Gusto, the likes of Palmer, the likes of Badia Shill are struggling to understand what a technical manager who suits what they're trying to do and how they're trying to play, you know, to come in and take 3 months to understand something. I just don't see it. I'm struggling to see it, bro.
Again, I don't think that it's about like just necessarily, oh, well, I play this style and this guy, it's more than that. It's about understanding the principles within the system. It's about understanding where you need to be. It's about understanding what you need to do when certain actions happen on the pitch. That takes time to evolve. It's not as simple as like, well, I'm good on the ball. I can pass the ball. And I'm going to be able, when working with a manager that understands it as well. Look how long it takes players that play under Pep to like adjust to his tactics.
I was going to make that point. Like,
it
players
takes
who
time.
suit his system go there, and it takes them a year, maybe 2 years to figure it out. Because it's not everybody. Everybody might have the same level of technical ability, but in terms of tactical ability and understanding the X's and O's, some players it takes them a long time. They're not that smart.
Yeah, but the guys, when you say that, for me,
one example I want to bring up. Okay, can I just bring? I've been trying to bring this one up. The one big one was when Jorginho, when Sarri got Jorginho, and Jorginho knew what he was going on, and this could be Enzo. Enzo could be he knows the role. When Jorginho got pressed a lot and the players around him weren't quite sure, that's when he lost the ball a lot. At the start of the season, he didn't start that well. Right, the system didn't flow that well. It took time when the other players started to understand and be in the positions where he can pass before he can even think. Right, that even if Enzo is the best at the role, it's everyone around it, and a lot of these roles are going to be new to players, and depending on players that we get in or not, some players might be shoehorned, and we're going to highlight that because if we lose, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about players not playing their proper positions, but it's important to have, you know, a player play a certain role, even if it's not their best. And I think that we're going to highlight this when we say it. It just depends. We're going to shine a bigger light depending if we win or lose.
I think we're going to have to make some sacrifices too. Like I think the lineup that we have right now, like there's going to have to be some sacrifices made in order for if we're looking for like, I don't think we have a like for like team from Leicester, how he played with Leicester to what we're doing at Chelsea right now. I don't know if it's like for like. If we're thinking about our best players, like if we're thinking about what our best 11 is, well, yeah, more quality, but not exact fits within the system, I think. I would say
I agree, but like this is my thing about management though. Like you can look at somebody like a Klopp, let's say, and say that he has a clear system in terms of how he wants to play from Dortmund, but he adapted some things at Liverpool once he got players in, some players that he didn't necessarily want in, but you adapt your style to the players that you have. So Enzo coming in, he might have his exact theory of, oh, this is how I want to always play my football. But if you have like, okay, let's just say like Modric, for example, suits maybe the wingers that is more akin to like another DD, right, in terms of how he plays. But you have Nkunku there, you're going to adapt your system so that Nkunku fits because we know Nkunku offers more than Modric. So like, I just feel like little things like this, the manager has to also show that he can manage situations and actually feel like, okay, I mean, let me sacrifice a little bit of this in terms of how I personally like to get the best out of a player. That's ultimately the most important thing, because as much as there's like tactics and systems and rotations you want in football and certain sequences that we want, because we as fans love to see that there's certain patterns of play, so we can say to our rivals that, oh, we have a pattern, we have this pattern that we do, right? As much as all those things are important, the most important things are the actual footballers on the pitch who can do things at a high level that other players in the league cannot do. So it's on the manager to actually get the best out of those players.
That's exactly my point. But it still comes down to what I was saying. It's just the idea that we don't have perfect fits for every position. Like we're still gonna have to make sacrifices in certain roles.
That might change with summer window. That might change.
Sorry, so Crouch, when you were saying sacrifice, it just made it sound like as if you were saying that Enzo's gonna like maybe sacrifice certain players to get the best out of his system, like as if his system
No. I think that he's gonna have to sacrifice his system to fit the players that we have. You know what I mean? So like you're right. I think Nkunku will probably play off the left, or maybe Jackson plays there. Perhaps even Nkunku plays as a striker, just so we can find the best setup with the most optimal lineup, right? Like not the best lineup positionally, but most optimal in terms of like our skill on the pitch, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And to be honest, like I think that the beauty of this season coming up is this conference league thing. I mean, I don't want to take it lightly or anything like that, but it's an opportunity to just experiment. Let's just be real.
It is.
It's just going to be an opportunity to experiment with the lineup and figure out exactly. You feel me now? Like, it's just experiment, man. Try some things, man. You know, put in Nkunku, you know, like in
it's a good place to start card as well for players. So honestly, like I hated the idea of it because I feel like we could have done a little bit of that in Europa League, but Europa League of recent had some really good teams in there where it's a bit more pressure. Like, you can't get away with things as much, you know. But like in the conference league, like, I mean, you even got like when we get to the knockout stages, like we've got the first leg there as a buffer to like, if we do it well, we're going to be 3 or 4-0 up, in the second leg we can just fully experiment, you know, and rest players, which is going to be important at the back end of the season. So these things work in the manager's favor, which is why I come back to the point of, for me, I don't put it as like, oh, it's pressure, like do well or get fired, but it's more a case of like, he needs to do well. He needs to come in and actually get things popping off quite quickly in terms of this season. Like, I'm not hearing the whole season of, well, we have to adapt and have a transition and finish 8th. Like, no, like there's still expectations to do really well in the league. Really well.
I mean, even outside of like, okay, the adaptation to the football is one thing, but the players are maturing at the same time too. Like, so it's not like we're not going to see an evolution in the football just based on the fact that these players are maturing. They're playing at a professional level for a longer period of time. Right, so the 21 and 22-year-olds that we have last year are now 23, 24, and are reaching, you know, their prime years. So they're going to evolve, and our football is going to evolve because they've evolved, right? So yeah, the manager's going to take some time, I think, to get his tactics spot on. But over that time, you're still going to have players like Cole Palmer and Nkunku coming back into the side, and all these other guys that are reaching different levels in their football. So yeah, I expect that too, the same way.
And one thing quickly I want to say before maybe people change the flow of this conversation is like with Enzo, I remember there was the whole quote that's coming out about his time at Parma saying that it didn't work there because they signed a bunch of players and they were all from different countries. And I think even though he is multilingual, like Jem said, like it was hard getting all those players like to like bed into the system. But it's like there isn't that excuse here because these players have already been here for a bit. So like you've got these players. We're gonna probably sign 4 to 5 players, but that's not like buying a whole new team. So like you have to do well with the players that you have here. And again, but like people are saying, he's done his homework. He knows about all of our players, even the ones on loan. So for me, he should come in and he should do well. I'm not saying that like I'm gonna be on his neck if we get some if we lose some games early on. Like I'll still give him the time. But for me, I don't think anybody here is going to be predicting us finishing anything less than 5th, to be honest. So I feel like that's what the bare minimum is. And for me, I'm saying 4th, to be honest.
Top 4 is a must.
I also think that like it's really important that we do have a good summer window, and I think it's equally as important to see who actually leaves the club as well and who we get rid of. But we need to have a really good summer window, and I think he's gonna. There was a comment earlier on Twitter saying that he won't have direct like involvement. Like, I want that player. No, we know that no managers are getting that opportunity, but he will have a say on the individuals that they are thinking of bringing in, just to see what they think about him fitting their system and stuff. And he just seems like someone that would. I don't know. Looking at him, I just think, you know, and it's early doors. I think this is a guy that seems to know, like, he has his system. He knows, he understands football very well. He understands players already. He's talking about having different systems for different players in his team. He's already done his background work and that. And this is a big part of the reason why he got the job compared to maybe like the others that were involved, because it was always a step ahead in terms of what he wants to do with it. And I think that's very good because he's showing variation. He's showing that he's got maybe a plan, an idea. Whether it's executed is a different story. But someone that's coming and saying A, B, C, and D, I could do this with Enzo. We can maybe do this, that, or whatever. Like, it's good. I think it's good for us to have at the football club. It's just like you said, how much time is he going to be given? But he does need to get moving. It's one of them where he can't be 10 games in, 6 games losses, 4 wins, 0 draws, for example. Like we need to start seeing that progression into our 3rd year under this ownership as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be hella key. Do you know what I mean? And we need a striker. Like, do we get a striker? There's talks about Maresca coming in and maybe be him and Jackson leading the lines with Nkunku, or will they look at a Victor or a Gakares? I don't know. I think this is a very hard market to looking at strikers. So
exactly,
it's gonna be a hard.
Well, we still need a striker, and I feel like as much as we're going to be now adjusting to Enzo's style of football, which should be different from Poch's style of football, right? Like the game doesn't necessarily change. The squad doesn't necessarily change. We still understand that there's things that the squad lacks, and no matter what system you're trying to play, we still need to try and improve on those things. One of those things being like physicality. We like an aerial threat certainly in the box. I think at the back, we severely lack recovery pace. I think other than Gusto, nobody has like incredible recovery pace, and I feel like that back line in terms of how we're going to play.
If Fofana's there, that'll change.
That'll change, true. That'll change, and we'll see how that works. But in terms of that, the left-hand side of the pitch, Colwell, Colwell is okay, but not great. Badiashile, not great at all. And then if Cucurella starting, it's quite a slow left-hand side, to be honest. So we're definitely going to need to address that at some point. So again, these things, regardless of the system that we're trying to play, we need to improve on these things if we're going to be a better football team, regardless of how the manager wants to detail certain parts of how we play.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. And there's talks about Osimhen, Elise, Tossin's another one that was in the news earlier about the potentials of coming in as well. The goalkeepers as well, Jorgensen from Villarreal, obviously.
James Trafford, get that fraud out of it. Oh my goodness. My goodness. James Trafford.
Who's even him? I didn't even call him
James
out.
Trafford. So that's the English, but nah, hell no. No, that's a media part right there.
But we are looking at goals. There's got the goalie from Berlin, it looked like quite promising. There's another one.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. The one thing I think that we have a step up in is whatever our scouting department's doing. In particular, my boy Joe Shields, they're doing that right. They're getting really good players. So I'm not worried if they highlight one guy that I'm like, I'm going to give them a bly. I'm going to let them at least show me, I'm going to give them the time and space to work their plan there. But because they've shown me enough now that they understand the type of player that we're trying to bring in here. Like nobody knew anything about Jackson last year, and look how nice he turned out for us. There's so many names like Gusto, another one. Obviously we haven't seen much of Lavia, but you know what he's about. I'm willing to give them. I'm willing to give them the what's the word I'm looking for, the latitude to just figure out whatever it is. Like if they got a goalie in mind, let them work that out, but yeah, just give them the latitude and space to do what they got to do. Joe Shields is the truth.
100%. Maybe Joe Shields in the way that he's moving. I mean, listen, I don't know how much involvement he had in Enzo Maresca, or we know that he's had dealings with him in the past, along with Lavia and Palmer as well. So I don't know. We're going to have to see. Fingers crossed, guys, we get this right. We really do need to be getting this right now, and we start seeing this vision play out a little bit more from these owners in terms of their own philosophy, what they want to do, how it's going to look. Because I've got some really young, talented players coming into this football club from 2025 onwards as well, with Esteval and Kendry Payaz as well. Like, there's going to be a lot of young talent. And I think where we need to be before we even get to that point where we start looking at the future and they start coming across is at least have a structure and a manager that's comfortable, and we're actually playing in a system that's rigid and consistent. And then, you know what I mean? Because that's the first thing you're going to want, is to be able to have that, and we see the continuity, the consistency in that, and then see that develop as the years go on. And if we're winning trophies from it, great. If we're in Champions League, great, whatever. But we need to get past that first, instead of just all these players keep coming in, but we're still here all the time because we're like, oh, not that man. Oh, that manager. Yeah. And then they come in, and then we've got all these players ready to go for the future and that. We're not even sorted out our own identity as a club. That's a big problem.
Facts.
We have to try and sort the identity out before we start calling all these youngsters that are talented into this as well. So I'm a bit worried because it's the third season and I feel like they need to kick on. And I'm hoping Enzo Maresca can provide that answer for us moving forward before we start looking at these young, talented Messinos, or whatever they're called over there, coming over as well.
Messino. For real.
Do you agree though? Identity is important, right? You've got to make sure you've got a structure and identity before you start off bringing all these young talented players that you've got coming in as well.
First of all, one question. I just a quick sidebar. What is GNA? What does that mean? What is that all about? Does anyone know? Jem, what does that GNA stand for?
Goals and assists.
Gem, and it used to be ads, didn't it? I used to have ads, didn't I? It's gone now.
Oh,
it's not goals and assists, Jem.
Huh?
It's not goals and assists.
Goals and assists. There you go.
Oh, I love it.
It is now.
Okay.
Good on the ass. Good on that. That sounds good, is it? Good on the ass. Yeah, I was gonna say good ass. TV.
Yeah, but I was just gonna say, I've said this on the last stream we were on. Like, we keep on we're throwing things at the wall, and we still haven't even really established a structure that's conducive to winning. We don't have winners within the structure of this club. You guys know where I stand with that. I think that's the biggest piece right now that's missing, and we have these guys. Maybe that's part of the reason why they didn't want to go for a more experienced manager, because they become the more, senior figurehead in terms of like how we want to play and how we want to win. I mean, you have somebody like a Jose. I'm not saying that we should have went for Jose. I'm just saying, like, if you have a Jose that comes into this team and he's working with Win Stanley and Stewart and Bowley and Igbali, who are you listening to? I'm not listening to those guys. I'm listening to Jose. Jose's won. You know what I mean? Like, Jose has Champions Leagues and stuff like that. So I'm at the point right now, like this structure, whatever we've assembled right now, has to have in its foundation winners. Winners. Man, and we still haven't addressed that in any way, shape, or form.
I feel like we're gonna have to win for us to have winners. Like, we can't bring in those winners based on what the sporting directors are doing. Because if they brought in let's say, like, look at what Tottenham did when they brought in Conte, right? Conte came in and obviously he started off pretty well, but he reached a point where it's like, well, I'm a winner. I won at previous clubs, but Tottenham isn't built on winning, and they've not done this and that, so it automatically undermines what I'm trying to do. And I feel like it will be a similar situation if we brought in a Mourinho, if we brought in, let's say, maybe even a Spalletti or Hansi Flick. They'll be like, well, I'm a winner. I've done it before, but the conditions here aren't conducive to winning, and I would do this differently. I would do that differently, and then automatically there's that kind of friction between the two.
Yeah,
it is the problem.
You top to bottom, you need the whole foundation on a philosophy.
But they're not going to change it now, because they're not going to change it. So we have to win now. You just have to win with these lot.
I think you need that person that's going to be able to hold everyone to a certain standard, because they know what it is to get to that point. Like, for me, like, even someone like, I know people might, is it blah blah blah. So even someone like Xavi, whatever you say about him, he knows what it is to win a league title at the highest level. He knows the intricacies of when to rest players and what goes into this and all that different. So that comes with something where you can hold everybody else accountable. Where it's like, well, guys, maybe we shouldn't do this because I went through this process and these players need to rest and play in this game. And those intricacies aren't there in the team currently. So it's going to be really hard. That's why, like, I'm just moving on hope right now, right? I really don't know how this is going to work because of the intangibles that go into management. That it's not just the X's and O's, right? Like, even when we first started doing this and getting guys in, when City first started doing this and change, it was always with guys who had won things, always with guys who had done things. Like, Jose had a Champions League before he came to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only guys that we know in this modern era that have done it without a guy who's won something is Arsenal, and they still haven't won anything yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a little difficult. I don't know. I'm just going off hope that he has the intangibles. I know he has the X's and O's, the tactics. Is the other parts of management that we're hoping that he has.
Yeah.
Well, the other point I want to bring up, what Jen was saying, like, if you don't, we bring all these young players in. If you don't have a philosophy, like, we need a philosophy for them to come in wherever they develop, and if they're going to jump into the first team, they know exactly what to do. I mean, that philosophy, Maresca's philosophy, has to be, if that's what we want to do, has to be all the way down to the youth level, to the backup youth level, and to the clubs you loan them to. This has to be like from the top, and we haven't had that. We're just jumping and changing. I mean, what's going to be funny if everyone goes back and listens to their streams when, a couple of seasons ago on how long it was going to take us. People thought we'd be title challengers about 2-3 seasons.
Not me. Not me.
People were one season. It was,
that was all
we
the
expected to get better each season.
But we've had so many, like, up and downs. We're not predicting managers to get sacked in 6 months and then a year. We're not really predicted that, because we don't really want that to happen. But of course, if you know that it could happen, we know that it could take 2 or 3 years. That's what I thought at the time. I feel like we're still behind on that because of
tangible. Like, we wanted to see, like, like, let's say we almost had it. We were just lacking so and so, and then we get it next season, and then maybe we're just lacking. Do you know what I mean? Like, every season we're getting closer to that thing, but we haven't seen it. It's just been very all over the place. I think the problems from each season have changed.
Just to go back a little bit,
just to go back a little bit, I don't know what happened to my mic. Yeah, with what sorry, fucking hell, Couch. With what Couch was saying. There we go. With what Couch was saying about winning and whatnot. I'm more with ads on this one because we know what sort of model that they're looking for. They're looking for basically someone that, whether you want to call it a puppet, whether you want to call it a yes man, they're basically looking for a coach that can just deal with the players that
someone who wasn't going to challenge them.
Yeah, someone who's not going to challenge them, which for me, I think is what a lot of modern clubs need to be doing anyway, right? Man City have done that a lot with Pep. Pep didn't even want Doku like that, and they still went and signed him, right? He wasn't familiar with his game like that. Obviously, with certain man like Haaland, like a superstar signing, of course the manager might say, "Yo, go get me a Haaland, go get me a Neymar in his prime and whatnot." But everyone else, I'm happy with the model, right? And like Ads has said, yeah, these lot are basically planning to win together, right? With Maresca as well, the good thing is he's actually had exposure to a winning environment, bro. When this guy was playing for Juve, he played with the likes of Zidane. He played with even Conte at the time. He won a Serie A over there. At Man City, he was part of the treble-winning team, day in, day out, training and playing with these guys, seeing what Pep did, in terms of the mentality, how he was coaching these guys, everything, the environment, the whole structure. He witnessed it. He saw that environment, bro. So all these little intangibles, it helps. Yes, he might not have been the manager of Man City, but at least he was around that environment. That's what I'm saying to you guys. It's not like
but you're missing what I was saying, though. You're missing what I'm saying.
It's not like we've got a guy. No, I wasn't missing what you're saying. You're saying we're still missing a winning element in terms of bringing someone that's gone and done it, like a Flick or whatever. We're not going to get
I'm not talking about from the manager position. I'm talking about within the structure of the club. I'm talking about when we went and got Peter Kenyon to be our director, and he basically put together the structure. And then after that, the winning happened. You know what I mean? We don't have anybody in the structure of the club that has won anything.
Yeah, but the point is, the point is they're assigning, they're putting a team together that they believe is going to basically dominate. That's the whole thing that they're trying to do.
For sure. But based on what, though?
But Don,
based on the quality of players,
I wouldn't expect them to put a team together that they didn't believe in. Right, because it's obvious they believe every club believes in their structure to be the best of the best or whatever. I think what Couch is saying is that when you look through our structure and you say, who in this entire structure knows what it is to take a club to the level that we are, to win at a club at the level that we are, and the truth is that none of them do. Like we're hoping that was where the conversation ended. We're hoping that they do.
Yeah, but I get that. But the point is, Couch, you can't say, "Oh, I like all these players that they've signed," but then in the same breath still say, "Oh, yeah, but we haven't brought anyone in that like a Kenyan that you've just said." You can't have it both ways.
What do you mean? I like the scouting. I don't like the squad building. I like the scouting.
Yeah, but bro,
hey, Enzo's won the World Cup, mate.
You just mentioned a bunch of players that we've signed that you said you like, yeah, which were brought in by the sporting directors.
But that doesn't necessarily that's not conducive to winning, though. Like that doesn't necessarily mean it's winning. Like and every team, it's not like
that's my point. That's the point that I'm making, bro. I'm saying that these players that they're bringing in, that you're saying are good players, and you like the fact that they're bringing these guys in. They're the guys that they are hoping or even expecting to go and win stuff. Yes, in an ideal world, you want a sporting director that's won it all and can come in. But unfortunately, they didn't go down that route, bro. But like you said, exactly. you like the fact that they brought in players that are good. And these sort of players with the right manager.
That doesn't necessarily. You're still missing the point, man. You're still missing the point.
It can't just be only players. It's the managers they chose, right? It's getting the players that suit the manager as well. These
the
are
medical team.
They just picked up players who might be good. Yeah, look, these players came injured. Do you know what I mean? Top down, like to actually make.
And what did you say? What did you say in the chat the other day, Don? That I was like, that is 100% facts. Like Pep said something about like how the most important person that you can have in your staff right now is a strong physio team. Because they're the ones that understand what it is to win, and if they have that in their DNA and they know how to win, they know how to train the players to play games to win. That's the most important thing for me, and making sure that you're keeping them healthy and whatnot. So, like I said, in the structure of the club right now, I don't see a lot of winners there, guys that understand what it takes to win at the highest level, and that's where my insecurity is right now. It's not so much about the players. I love the players. I think that Nkunku's going to be a fabulous player. I love all the guys, but can you put it all together and make it win? Do we have anyone that understands how to do that? I don't think we do.
And that's where they need to prove that was like you wrong, bro.
He's coming, Couch. He's coming. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But that's a key point. Someone who knows how to win or knows what it takes might have 3 names on his board and have Sesko and him and somebody else, and will say no question I'm going for Osimhen. But if they don't know how to win and they're thinking, well, I can put anybody with these attributes, and if they play with this kind of manager and these players, they're going to win. And you bring in Sesko, to me that's a mistake, right? Those are the elements that I'm hoping that they fix and give this manager the right things, that he doesn't have to, he's not pulling teeth with certain guys where it's like, if you're gonna have players, like, because they said they're gonna pick the players and give him maybe two or 3 options, and then he chooses, and then we buy one of those options. But if they're picking and they're guys like Osimhen, guys on his level, maybe in midfield or in the back line, and go, like, for example, in goal, if they're going for a James Trafford over Diogo Costa, that's the problem Couch is talking about. You know what I'm saying? Trafford might be talented and it might be a good, but if you want to win a league title, your goalkeeper has to be top of the top. Not he's developing and he's making mistakes, and you're never going to win it, or get to the level that you want to get to in that way. So I do agree, and I'm hoping that with the signings that we make in this summer, like, I'm giving them a chance. Obviously, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, because it could happen. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, even on your point, that even them selling the idea or the plan to the player, like, even though they want Osimhen, they're still going to show what we're doing. They're gonna sell it to him. I mean, they're going to convince the player. I mean, that's a big deal in what they're trying to do as well. Every director is going to sell the player and the manager as well. It's not as easy. Osimhen might have 3 great choices, and if they can't sell it properly, and also they can't back it because they haven't done much, right? If the manager and the directors are trying to sell Osimhen how, like, we're going to be challenging for trophies, but they've never done it before too, that could be a downfall as well. And the plan might not be as convincing as to other directors and managers that might do it.
For me, how I look at it, this ownership are clearly ambitious, right? And what they need to do now, the summer onwards, like I've said on my channel 1,000,001 times, is they now need to go and bring proven talent. Don't bring me the Mudriks and the Maduekis where you need to do bare work. Don't bring me no James. Don't bring me no James Traffords. Now is the time to bring me Olises. Guys that are ready to start now.
Don't bring me Sesko.
Yeah. Bring me guys that are ready now.
Sesko is a media plant, to be honest.
This summer, like I said, is very key to answer a lot of the question marks that a lot of us have. Because what Couch is saying, I hear it from his point of view. But like I said, this is now their time to basically prove Couch wrong and say, okay, cool, you don't think we're winners, yeah? Say less. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do a madness this summer. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's what they need to do.
I hope they go.
Anyway, guys, I need to dip. I'm getting called non-stop. We've done 2 hours and 20 minutes on here talking about Enzo Maresca. We've got many more shows to come, guys. Transfer shows, more manager talk. We've not even had confirmation of Enzo Maresca. Who knows? It might just collapse and De Zerbi walk through the door. You never know. We still haven't had that signature yet.
Yeah, right.
That is a surprise. How do we go? Here we go, and not an announcement. Yeah.
Here we go, and it's a picture of blimmin' me. A random guy who sits on Chelsea Fan TV is the new manager of Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, and I've got my I've got my coaching team: Don, Couch, and we've got forward, aka Ads, Daniel, and
that's another one.
He's gonna be the set piece coach, man. Fucking hell.
Who would be the assistant? Who would be the physio? Who would be the medical? Who would be who? Who would be who?
I need to be the physio, man.
He'll be the medical guy.
I need to be the medical guy for sure. For sure.
Giving guys hella massages,
no doubt.
Massages. I see you, bro.
Hey, pause on that, son.
Whoa.
We know what Daniel will be. He'll be the yellow bus driver, so that's all right. He'll take us to away games.
Wow, what a joke.
Guys, big love to all of you. So honestly, big up. I don't know when the next show will be. It will just be as of when, more news comes out on the club, any player news, any manager talk, whatever we'll do. We are doing it more consistently. As you can see, we've had 450 people all the way through today. Nice numbers, man. The numbers are going right back up to where they used to be, which is nice. Big up to every single one of you guys. Tap screens, guys. Hit the likes. Leave us a comment below as well. And big up the panel, innit? Big up the panel in the building
Up
as
the
always.
Chelsea.
Good talks. Up the Chelsea. And go and follow Don as well. He's got his YouTube channel. Go on, Don, promote it.
Yeah, man. Listen, big up the chat, man. Big up the panel every time. Greasy Don on Twitter, and then Don CFC, man. We're active on there. There'll be a lot more. I need to put out a video on some of these guys that we're linked to, like Tosin, the other keepers I've seen. So yeah, we'll chop it up. But yeah, love, man. I enjoyed that.
And don't forget Couch Critic and his analytic videos, man. You got to go and check that out. They're proper in depth. Worth looking into as well, man. Come on, Couch. Where they find
you don't know Couch Critic.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Just put in Couch Critic, you'll find it. There's not many of us out there, so just check it out. Respects.
I would love Ads to make his own YouTube channel. I think he'd do pretty good at it as well, to be fair. But I don't think the man's got enough time. But
nah, he needs to. He needs to, bruv.
Does, yeah.
No, unfortunately not. But now I'm down to collab with you guys and just jump on your shows and just chop it out, man. You guys got good channels going. Just need to stay consistent, which Jem is finally doing now. Obviously, Couch needs to be doing as well. But obviously, life gets in the way. That's how it is for me as well. But
of course,
it's good that we can at least have this to just talk every now and then when every time consistently Chelsea change managers. So yeah, that's good.
What about the Mr. Daniel over there? What's he doing these days? What's happening?
Yellow Bus TV. It's got a ring to
it. Yellow Bus TV. Is it Yellow Bus TV?
We're working on campaigns for Nike. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing now. So
easy there, easy pun.
You know what I mean? That's where we're driving the bus to. We're driving to Nike headquarters tonight. But beyond that, bro, I'm chilling, bro. I just be on Lewis's streams, so you can catch me on there chatting shit. For the most part, but that's pretty much it. I don't have a fucking channel. I'm not doing that.
He just turns up when he turns up, man. This is what he does. This is what he does. And then you got Declared War, who just declares war anywhere he goes. Every channel he's on, he usually declare arguing with about 10 people. So that's what he does, isn't it?
Yeah, you see that war flag coming, I'm just gonna plant it. It's wartime.
Nah, big up Declared, man. Big up.
I love Declared, man.
I'm happy to tell you guys. We down here it's hard to keep up with games, so not many people can talk in depth about the EPL as much. So it means a lot to talk with you guys. So that
don't get emotional now. Come on.
It's your space to come, man, with your emotional comment, man. We like the emotional. Come on, the emotional Declared War. Come on, that's good to see. Guys, you can come follow me on GNA TV. We're on our road to nearly 10K subscribers. We've actually moved up 200 subscribers in the last 2 weeks. That's pretty impressive. So let's try and see if we can keep growing it again. We're trying to pump the channel up. Also, Chelsea Fan TV, they're on their road to 250K over there. They're on 217 at the moment, guys. So please make sure you subscribe over there as well, if you can. And we'll be back again very soon. I don't know where I'm going to be around this weekend, but if I'm about and something happens, granted, we'll be here at some point, guys. Big up. Take care of yourselves. See you later. Peace.